Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. NOS Energy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlic technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
Yo, Chelsea, the coloring on our NGK spark plugs looks incredible for handling 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, I know. I've been telling you for years. I've been running NGK plugs, and they're awesome. Did you know that NTK is part of the NGK family? And they make all sorts of sensors like O2 sensors, temperature, pressure, position, and ignition coils.
I did not know that, but maybe we can talk them into making proximity sensors to help you with your bumper budget.
Now available at Advanced Auto Parts and CarQuest Auto Parts stores.
Round 5 of the Formula Drift heads to the PNW. That's the Pacific Northwest.
Before we get started, I want to know one thing.
Welcome, Drift fans, to Round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. We are live from Monroe, Washington, Evergreen Speedway. You can see there is a cloud hanging over these Evergreen State Fairgrounds. I'm Jared Dean. I'm joined once again by my side by a great friend, my co-host, Ryan Sage. Ryan, great to see you. Hot yesterday, really hot, hitting 90 degrees. Today, a little cooler, nice little cloud cover, not as much wind, but I think it's going to make for still a great day. Saw some rain earlier. What did you make of yesterday coming into today?
Yeah, definitely different conditions today. We are seeing that kind of overcast setting here. at Evergreen, but it's very fitting for this part of the country, and I think because we are going to have dry conditions throughout the day, that means we are going to see some of the best action that we're used to on this track. Very high speeds, you've got that crunching center section, the power alley, the last right-hander, just a really fun track overall. I know a lot of drivers really enjoy watching it. And the fans here, for me, are some of the best in the country. They know so much about the sport, and the enthusiasm and the rumbling of the feet is just a really cool part of this event.
Wait, you say they stomp the bleachers? Is that what they do? They stomp the bleachers? Oh, wait. Oh, can you feel that? Can you feel that at home? This is the battle in Seattle that I lovingly call it as well, aka the throwdown. Look at the camera shake. I feel like Jurassic Park, like, you crazy son of a... So we saw some awesome rounds of competition previously in the season. We kicked things off in Atlanta. Normally we go to the streets of Long Beach, but during COVID, slid it over because the Long Beach Grand Prix is going down September, and that's when we're putting Long Beach. So Odie wins Atlanta. Chelsea Denofa wins in Orlando under that hot track. Matt Field wins in Englishtown, the debut of that new E-Town racetrack, and Chelsea Denofa wins at the debut of Erie, Pennsylvania. So what does it mean for the current standings, Ryan? Where are we looking?
Well, I think right now we've established that Matt Field obviously is the leader in the points and has maintained that throughout the season. However, we are starting to see drivers chip away. We mentioned Frederick Osbo yesterday, starting to look like an athlete that is peaking at the moment that he needs to. We're on the downside of an 8-round championship, and with just a few more rounds to go, the points are very important. However, what we do have this year is the championship points allocation. The spread is much more confined. So my prediction is that we're probably going to see up to 5 potential drivers going into Irwindale that have a mathematical chance for the championship. We saw some incredible qualifying yesterday from Chris Forsberg, who got that second place finish, or the second place position. And he did make some changes to the vehicle that I think is giving him more confidence to overcome some of the mechanical hurdles that he had so far this year.
And here's our #1 qualifier, Michael Essa, who really put it down in that FCP Euro BMW. And you know, he's one of the quickest drivers, but also one of the smoothest. But his rate to angle really delivered, and he put his car in all the right places. Your thoughts?
Well, I think Michael Essa took advantage of what some of the other top drivers didn't do, and that's a mid-90s score. He saw what the other drivers were doing, and he took advantage of that about halfway through qualifying, and so nobody could catch him at that point. Not a driver that you would expect to see in #1 qualifying like a Denofa or an Oswald. They had already gone at that point. Denofa struggled on his first run. We saw him get that 75 hitting the wall. He had to be relegated to the bottom 8 along with Matt Field. So that is where we're going to see some interesting battles in the top 32. We've got Chelsea Denofa facing Matt Field in the top 32. Now, you either want to say that is massively genius on Denofa's part, or a little bit of madness. And maybe there is some madness in the genius there, because one of these two guys that is a championship contender is going to go out in 32.
That's right. So again, at the top of, and keep in mind, qualifying is just, there's no points at stake. It's just where you're seated, where you go. So the not-so-great 8, like you said, Matt Field, he had a mistake. Chelsea Denofa, both the 1 and 2 had to go to the not-so-great 8. But the judges really bringing up Chris Forsberg as an example, as a unit of measure to the other drivers in the driver's meeting. They say, hey, you really want to press us? Take a look at Chris Forsberg's qualifying run yesterday. Here's a look at the bracket as well.
Yeah, and I think that was a really strong point that they emphasized, you know, in the drivers' meeting this morning, to give the other drivers something to think about when they approach as their lead runs. But obviously, tandem is more than just that. You know, it's a comparative battle, lead and chase driver. We know how important the chase driving is at this particular track, not to get lost on the big bank, not to get sucked in on the power alley and make contact with the driver in a decel or a momentum zone area. For Odie Bakchis, he is right in a really good position right now to kind of take advantage of where he's at in the championship, to keep moving forward to his first ever championship. But when we look at the overall scheme this year, Matt Field, Chelsea Denofa, Frederick Osbo, Vaughn Gittin Jr., all of these guys are in the hunt for the championship. And we've said it before in the past, Evergreen seems to be a little bit of a tide-turning moment in the championship, and we start to look back at an event like this and say, you know what, this is really where so-and-so kind of established themselves as the real championship leader.
Yeah, we saw that. Vaughn Gittin Jr. last year with our COVID season, our kind of condensed season, Vaughn Gittin Jr. back-to-back here in Seattle. Can he do it again? I think a lot of eyeballs are on Chelsea Denofa. But speaking of Vaughn Gittin Jr., our defending champion, Jen Horsey is joining us because Lorette Nickel couldn't make it. She's at a family wedding right now, so obviously miss you, Lorette. But Jen Horsey, a friend of ours, is down in the pits. She caught up with Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Vaughn. Vaughn, qualifying yesterday, I think to the inexperienced, might not have looked like it went so well for you, but maybe it's exactly what you guys wanted. Tell me about your strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we qualifying out here, there's really no benefit to qualifying high, and we prefer as a team to chase first, and so that's what we did. So, we used to have qualifying points and things that made it make sense for us to qualify and work really hard to qualify high, and that's not there anymore. So we've reverted to some other strategy, and, Chelsea and I really want to be in separate sides of the brackets right now, especially given, the points and all that fun going on. So we went out there and, focused on some places that we wanted to work on and use it as effectively an extra practice run, and got us in the show and ready to go and battle. And I'm really looking forward to chasing. I enjoy chasing, love getting that out of the way first. And so we did it, and that's where we are.
So that makes a lot of sense, but tell me specifically for your team, with your tires and the power that you guys have, why chasing works better first?
Well, I think everybody is 2 laps of tires now with all the power and all the grip we're putting down. And so, our tires are great both laps, but brand new tires are always better. And so, for us, where we're at and the goal that we have come the end of the season, it's just what made sense for us.
And tell me about that first battle that it sets you up for.
Yeah, so I'm running Rome, and we battled last year in St. Louis. He's really been coming up. He's a great driver. He runs good lines. So I'm really looking forward to battling him. I'm sure the same for him. So we got a battle in during practice, and it went great. So ready to put on a show and put smiles on faces for everyone at home.
So Vaughn and Chelsea now are on opposite sides of the bracket for the top 32. If they can go all the way, that gives them a chance at 1-2 in the championship.
Thank you so much, Jen, and good luck to you, Vaughn Gittin Jr., going against Rome. Again, the fans are streaming in. And speaking of the fans, hey, I want to give a quick little shout-out to somebody here in the building. Shout-out to Echo and your entire crew for coming out here since day one. We heard you guys lost 2 of your Drift family members in the last couple of years. So thanks for being here, enjoying the weekend in memory of Jazz and Patrick. Hope they are enjoying the smoke show from up above. So thank you so much to Echo and their crew as, again, celebrating the Drift family all across the globe and here in Seattle. Ryan, let's take a look. This is Torque Drift, so a little digital version of this track, and that's Chelsea Denofa. Walk us through what the judges are looking for in the different zones.
Well, right there before the start of outside zone 1, you've got your 3-2-1 cones, and then yesterday in qualifying, this was a double sector. Today, it doesn't matter. It's a comparative battle, but that big, long outside zone 1 goes into outside zone 2. That used to be a touch and go, so drivers are now expected to fill that entire thing. Right here, for me, I think is one of the most important parts of this track, because that is a decel zone in that outside zone 3, but we do see drivers that push wide there, resulting in very, very close, sometimes contact, sometimes collision in that area, leading into inside clip number 1. Obviously, the pass heard around the world last year between Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Justin Pollock, and there have been other instances in the past where that part of the course comes into play. In the latter rounds, as drivers get faster and faster and faster and are pushing harder and harder, I think we will see many incidents there that are going to be determinant for a win or a loss.
Yep. So again, that's that Torque Drift course preview, and drift your favorite pro cars on the new Formula Drift and Monroe track, now live on Torque Drift. Chelsea Denofa, Adam Ilsey, Matt Field, Vaughn Gittin Jr. and more in-game. Download for free on iOS, Android, PC. Torque Drift. Here are the outer zones from up in the sky.
Yeah, and you can see we actually made some slight adjustments to the momentum maps. The red there, we've made them a little bit more fine, and what that means is we've taken the telemetry data from the vehicles to kind of match it up in a better way to where these drivers are decelling. So we've got that big one coming off the bank, and then a little bit before outside zone 3, about 3/4 of the way through, and then the final transition to outside zone at number 4. I think what we're going to see and what we're going to be looking for is on outside zone 3, where are the drivers picking up the throttle once they leave the zone? Are they letting it float out too far, or are they getting on really early? Ryan Turk did a great job of that yesterday. Now for the format, we are going to see single elimination head-to-head battles. Each battle consisting of 2 runs, with the higher qualifier leading the first run, chasing the second. For the judges, it's driver A, driver B, or one more time. And then for the lead driver, it just really becomes about doing the lead driver goals, trying to run that qualifying line and really establishing dominance in that position. We've seen guys like Frederick Osbo have done so well with that. In the chase, they need to follow the lead driver wherever he goes, using it as a moving clipping point, so to speak, matching or bettering the lead driver's angle, and then of course trying to mimic the lead driver's transition in line. We'll probably put some focus on that, especially on the big bank, because there is a tendency to want to get on a tighter line to keep proximity. The judges really would not like to see that. We want to see the drivers on the same line, or the chase driver on the same line, and getting right up against that rear bumper.
I thought there was a great point real quick before we throw it down to Jen Horsey. They said where the lead car's rear tires are, the chase car's rear tires. That's ideal.
Right.
So, talking more tech, Jen Horsey's down with 3-time champion Chris Forsberg. Jen?
Hi, guys. Chris is getting himself ready for the competition today, but I wanted to show you the component on his car that has basically got him out of the championship points right now. So he's been using electronically actuated throttle body, and that's been causing him some trouble. He doesn't know why, but it's been failing. So literally what's happening now is he's got it connected to a cable. This is the throttle body. When he puts his foot on the gas, this allows gas to go into the engine, and you can see it's attached by a cable right here that goes right through the firewall and into the car. That should not be a problem for him this weekend, and he is on fire. So I'm excited to see how this competition shakes out.
Thank you so much, Jen. As again, and here is Chris Forsberg's qualifying run. So as the judges talked about, this is a unit of measure for all the other drivers and you, the fans, to take note of. This would be a good lead run, Ryan.
Yeah, and I think it's some great reporting there by Jen Horsey to give you guys an idea of some background for those that haven't watched the broadcast, the struggles that Chris has had with that throttle body. And as we take a look at the way that he's been performing here in qualifying, one of the judges brought it up to me in a previous discussion that they said his practice runs were some of the best that they've ever seen. And so I think that is why we're keeping a watch here on the 3-time champion. How is he going to perform here in the top 32? He has definitely got his hands cut out for him, depending on where he's able to, or who he's able to beat. He's got Kyle Mohan in the top 32, but if he gets through Kyle Mohan, he's got the winner of Frederick Osbo and Taylor Hull, and then Vaughn Gittin Jr. is on that side of the bracket as well. So we are going to see some heavy-hitting battles early on in competition, but I think the one that I'm most interested in, the one that is the highest risk, and as I said, it's either going to be looked at as a genius move or a little bit of a touch of madness, is Chelsea DeNova versus Odi Bakchis on the left-hand side of the bracket.
Yeah, I'm excited to see just how all this unfolds. We have a full 32, which is great. Ryan Littrell barely got in. I'm really looking forward to what you always bring up, the championship, but I really love to put on a good show, and a good competition equates to a good show overall. And I think the matchups, like you said, are going to be really dynamic. It's going to be really interesting. Some gremlins are starting to show up for these vehicles, you know, and round one, you got a fresh car, you got this new invigorated kind of feel. We're halfway through, man. We're more than halfway through. We're over the hill after this round of competition for sure. So overall, making it a good event. What are your kind of thoughts and predictions as well, or what can the fans expect?
I mean, assuming that we don't get any moisture, which is always like an outside possibility.
Why did you bring that up?
Knock on wood. I think we'll see some really dynamic driving here. The practice session leading up to this was very eye-opening for me to kind of see how the drivers are pushing the limits of their vehicle. You talked about being on the downside of the championship and, you know, gremlins and mechanical issues. And I think that also kind of plays into where along the line in the season does attrition become a factor. Usually going into Irwindale, it becomes so apparent because they have been pushing the cars, you know, so hard throughout the year, but they're also willing to kind of throw the car away because there's no more events. Right. We do see those things kind of pop up, and that is a really important part of overall competition, is the reliability of these vehicles in the long term. I from a mindset, you know, here's the points at stake. You could obviously 100 points for first, 91 for second, so on and so forth. But going into, you know, okay, after this we go to St. Louis, so we go to the gateway to the west, right? We go to Worldwide Technology Raceway. Guess what? We come back to California not for one, but for 2 rounds, because you're going into the gauntlet, the Widowmaker. I mean, that Long Beach track has taken out DMAC. It's taken out Ryan Turk's car when we kicked off that season. Wrote the car off. It was totaled. Had to rebuild a new car for the next round of competition going into Atlanta. He eventually did really well, winning in New Jersey, but just the mindset of like, okay,
hold, and then like streets of Long Beach, and then we go into Irwindale, which is one of the most iconic tracks in the world.
I actually think that's a really good point. Is a lot of guys, are thinking about, as we get ready for Michael Essa and Ryan Littrell here, a lot of guys are thinking about most of the seasons in the past start with Long Beach, right? So it's bad if you write your car off at the beginning, but it's a different dynamic now where the round before Irwindale, we go to that track.
Yeah.
And I wonder how that is going to change the psychology or the preparation of drivers thinking about, I only have one more event left to go. I got to get through Long Beach. It's a really tough event.
Well, here we go. We have a former champ, Michael Essa, our #1 qualifier, going against number 32 qualifying Ryan Littrell. Great to see him flying that RB Army flag. And Michael Essa, he's all BMW in that FCP Euro BMW. And here we go. The Power Stop Brakes S15 will chase down Michael Essa, and we're gonna have our first turn and burn here of season 18, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. I always thought maybe we should start doing like UFC, like they have UFC 1458 or whatever. We should just start calling FD18, right? So that we can go that route. Are you into it?
Yeah, kind of into it. I think we
did the 15 really hard.
Yeah, I think we were thinking about something like that for next year.
All right, here we go. Michael Essa, FCP Euro BMW out front. Here's Ryan Littrell in that chase position, initiating quite a gap established already. As Michael Essa, like I said, he is your #1 qualifier, so he obviously knows how to put it down out here on the track. That mid-90s score in qualifying, that's out the window. It's all comparative, as you said, Ryan. Going to that power alley into that third zone, now tightening up to the front clip. You see Ryan Littrell get close, but has to back off, and then look at Michael Essa just running his own game. Ryan Littrell having a tough time in that Power Stop Brakes GT Radial S15, but a great way to start. Stop your feet, Seattle.
Well, what did we just say maybe less than 5 minutes ago? That outside zone 3 is going to be a factor because of the compression there. You can see Littrell just barely gets initiated by that last standing red cone. And that is the latest point of initiation for the chase driver. As you said, Michael Essa out front, going through the motions, looking perfect here in the lead. Now watch, you're going to see him compress there because he's on a tighter line. He has to kind of reinitiate. I think this could possibly be an incomplete in the chase position, but either way, he's at a massive deficit here, was not able to really kind of hold ground to Michael Essa, who got a great jump and did fill all of the goals as the lead driver.
Now, Ryan, this is where it gets interesting. Ryan Littrell, they have, all the drivers have their spotters. You wonder what is going into Michael Essa's, his spotter telling him into his head, hey man, Ryan Littrell may be struggling there in that chase position. How is he going to manage being out front and chasing that? That's where it gets difficult, and that's where you don't want to have an inactive chase, but you want to tread lightly.
Yeah, I've always liked the strategy when a lead driver goes to the chase position and they have a big advantage of kind of reeling in the driver more like halfway through the track. Michael Essa is taking a little bit more of an aggressive approach here. Let's see what happens.
Here we go. Ryan Littrell out front. He's doing a decent job, but Michael Essa making his presence felt. You can see right there, Ryan gets out to that third outside zone. He's going to tighten it up here, but Michael Essa not being shaken. Now coming to that last and final outside zone. Ryan Littrell doing a great job out front, but Michael Essa all over him like a BMW on an S15.
As we go back and take a look at the initiation here, you're going to see Michael Essa make a little bit of adjustment in the chase, trying to figure out exactly the behavior of Ryan Littrell. May not have had a lot of driving time together. Watch right here. Watch on the initiation. You can see he's starting to compress right there. He has a little bit of a flub there as he tries to get the car to angle. And that's kind of the thing we were maybe warning against a little bit, is not putting yourself in a position after you've done so well in the lead to make mistakes. Now Ryan Littrell coming through this power alley here, he's still going to be on a tighter line here, so he's not necessarily following the lead driver responsibilities. Essa does a good job from inside clip 1 to outside zone 4 to keep the pressure pretty tight. As we take a look from the drone above, you'll get a good view of the exact line that the lead driver was driving here through the power. More of a kind of a center line, not so much out to that outside zone 3, which is what the judges do want to see.
Yeah, that truth serum, as I call it, man, that overhead view, and I think it's going to go the way of Essa. But that's 1, and that's 2. And is it unanimous? I believe it will be. Unfortunately for Ryan Littrell, he's out, but Michael Essa gets the win in his FCP Euro BMW. He's moving on. Liqui providing some support as he makes his way back to the pit. We'll see him after the halftime break in the top 16. Ryan, that again, I liked how you broke it down. It's, Essa didn't have the most ideal chase run, but that's a hard act to follow when Littrell wasn't 100%. All right, before we move on to our next battle, Jen Horsey is with our current points leader, Matt Field.
This is
Oh,
the
that's Odie.
battle of the top 32. Odie, you drew Chelsea. Tell me about that first battle. Couple heavy hitters.
Yeah, man, that's definitely a final, a battle worthy of a final battle. But, it's just weird how it all came together to be doing that in top 32. It's going to be really good for points for either one of us. Whoever wins is going to be stoked on what happens with points. So we're just knocking it out early. One of us is going in the trailer early. I hope it's not me. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, good luck on that battle.
All right, thank you so much. As we are getting some words with Odie, I apologize. Both Falcon Tire drivers, the frenemies. So we got one of the frenemies there, Odie Bakshis, and wrapping out with that, we got an all-Japanese battle here, Kazuya Taguchi versus Japanese-American driver Kenshiro Gushi, the OG. And we have a Supra versus the 86. We got the 2J versus the VR GTR engine.
Yeah, and kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum this year. Kazuya Taguchi having a phenomenal 21 season, being in the top 10. I think he's currently sitting 6th in points. And Ken Gushi, who ended the 2019 season with a win, has not had the vehicle reliance that he has really wanted. Sometimes it's been, 50-cent parts that have caused problems for him. But he did look really good in practice yesterday and today. Had a pretty solid qualification overall. 16th and 17th, so one position spread between Kazuya Taguchi and Ken Gushi. And now let's get to the battle.
Kazuya Taguchi leading that up garage ISR 86. Kenshiro Gushi in chase position, that gritty Toyota Gazoo Racing Supra. Kazuya a lot higher there. We're going to need Ken Gushi again, like the judges said, where those lead tires are in that rear position. Look, Kazuya hanging out really hard and long. Man, that thing was hung out to dry for quite a bit, Ryan. As Kazuya Taguchi has a wide swing, but he does tighten it up, kind of a wider apex. As Ken Gushi, you can see him going beeline towards that last outside zone. Some hiccups, some mistakes. Also, I really want to take a look at Kazuya. Did he take the right line going from outer zone 1 into the power alley?
Yeah, definitely a little bit unsettling there at the beginning for Ken Gushi. You can see he didn't predict where Taguchi was going to go. Taguchi goes high, and Gushi actually goes mid-low line. Then they make some contact here, and it causes Taguchi to go off of outside zone 2. Much better back around on outside zone 3. But as we get to this final section here, watch Ken. He's going to angle up here, fall off proximity, and almost bring the wheels straight there. So I think Ken has got some work in the lead position, as now they will switch things up.
All right, well, as we take a look at it again there, Ken Gushi will be leading as Kazuya Taguchi, like you said, just dragging that wall. And 6th in points it's a reflection of his driving and his driving prowess. It seems like he has the perfect combo, right? Reese's peanut butter cups. You put the peanut butter in my chocolate, you put the chocolate in my peanut butter. Boom, he's got Reese's peanut butter cups right now. He's in it to win it, baby. As Kenshiro Gushi, who currently sits 30th in points. I mean, this is, it's been a very difficult season for him. He's campaigning his own team. He's, him and his family, aka his friends, are just putting in a lot of work, and he would really like to see the results of his hard work. Here we go, as Ken Gushi will lead. We got a clean start here with that Toyota Gazoo race. Whoa, Kazuya! Look at that, almost marking his door with a little rubber tattoo. As Ken Gushi would like to see Kazuya a little bit higher, but Gushi takes that proper line into that power alley. Looks like Gushi says, all right, enough messing around. I'm gonna throw it down here. Pull my town into that final outside zone right in front of the fans. Big angle there from Gushi as Kazuya. Great proximity. Ryan, your thoughts here?
Well, what's pretty apparent is Taguchi kept more constant pressure on Ken Gushi throughout this run, and he slides up into the line with Ken. First he goes down, then he moves up quickly. So he made a quick adjustment to get on the proper line. Now he's down a little bit there, but he has really good proximity. He's trying to make sure that he doesn't run into Ken, and you can see him really manipulating the car there. Gushi, on the other hand, gets into outside zone 2 at the inside of outside zone 3, so he could have been a little bit deeper there, and a great job at outside zone 4, though he does hold up there just for a second at maybe the last 5 feet of outside zone number 4. So Taguchi looking aggressive here, diving in. You can see he does lose a little bit of angle as he tries to not hit Ken Gushi as the lead driver. But how did he do overall in both positions? Looking at that comparative battle, the lead run and the chase run together, is there a definite winner here? Kenguchi does not want that 32 knockout, and for Taguchi, he's continuing to build his campaign. 6 in points right now.
All right, the drivers awaiting the outcome. The drivers awaiting the outcome here of Kazuya Taguchi and Kenguchi. It's a one more time. And there it is. We got an OMT, and there you go. You got your foam fingers there, homeboy, right in front of us. So it wasn't unanimous, though, but majority rules, OMT. That's a one more time there. As Lantain, want to make sure your headphones work over there. You're not just twiddling your thumbs, but as we throw it over to Ryan Lantain, want to get some insight from him. It's a one more time. Ryan?
Hey, Jared.
Hey, bud.
So one little thing we wanted to point out here, it looks like we were using the wrong tablets over here. So as the Canadian judge in the middle, myself, I actually chose Kazuya Taguchi.
Okay.
Brian Eggert chose one more time along with Chris Uhl. So just to clarify that.
Okay.
I felt that Taguchi did a good job in the lead minus his end of outside zone 1 going to outside zone 2. But I felt that Gucci in the chase was pretty, he had a lot of errors outside of what Taguchi did right there. He did not have a great chase run, and I felt that in the chase also, if you look at what Gucci did over the finish line there, he kind of straightened up as he was going over the finish line, and he did it in the lead position as well. And I felt that Taguchi did a great job in the chase. He put a lot of pressure on Gucci. There was one area where he had slightly less angle, but I just felt that he had a cleaner run overall. Watch Gucci right here, kind of straightening up as he goes over the finish line. So there were some areas that I felt Gucci could have really taken advantage of his opportunities, and I felt that Taguchi did a really good job of doing what he should with one or two little mistakes.
Well, I got to tell you, just pronouncing Kazuya Taguchi and Kenshiro Gucci right next to each other, it was a little difficult, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I heard Ryan stumbling a little bit.
Rough start. Ryan had to throw some some brake cleaner in the carburetor real quick to get it. You got to
that was pretty embarrassing, honestly.
Like he just I was. Admittedly, I was dying laughing sitting next to him. But it happens. It does happen. Again, Ryan, we've never claimed to be perfect.
No.
We didn't see a 100-point qualifying run, I don't think, this year. And we always shoot for 100, but not perfect by any means.
Yeah, and just getting down to the brass
the
tacks of it, I am sympathetic to what Ryan said there. I mean, Taguchi did seem to have an overall better appearance there, but obviously two judges wanted to see that go one more time. So majority rules, we will see them one more time. Kenguchi will get another chance, but we will be moving on to Dylan Hughes versus Alec Robbins here because Jonathan Hurst has called the competition timeout.
Jonathan Hurst in the Cash Racing G37 has called his competition timeout. He's got that LS under the hood of his G37, or very apparent an LS sticking out of the hood of the G37. He'll be going against Jonathan Castro, but that competition timeout, one and done, utilized through the whole weekend. You can use one. It's a 5-minute allotment, and you only get one through both qualifying and competition day. Let's talk about Dylan Hughes and that of Alec Robbins. Dylan, I mean, this is essentially his home track. I mean, he's from the PNW, but he's been looking fierce out there.
Yeah, he has, and he has that number 9 qualification spot with Robbins in 24th. He's starting to kind of put together a lot more consistency in his campaign, and Robbins has also been driving really well when you look at how he performed in Erie and just overall this year. So I expect this to be a really hard-fought battle between these two drivers, with Dylan Hughes taking the lead first.
All right, here we go with Dylan Hughes out front. Alec Robbins in the practice session. As we saw him earlier in practice, like to see him get a little high. He's definitely, watching him in qualifying yesterday, he did make it into the first session, one and done. So how much practice did he get? Here we go. Dylan Hughes throws in a massive angle there. Alec Robbins struggling a little bit to get to the side of him. He now does. You can see, take some angle out of it to compromise for the proximity, but we'd like to see him emulating and mimicking that angle as Dylan Hughes goes very deep into the outside zone 2, and that does allow Alec Robbins to gain proximity. So just starting to zero down on those RPMs and slowing it down to the MPH. Excuse me, not on the RPMs, but just on the MPH, talking about horsepower and speed. But Ryan, what do you think about the compromising of Alec Robbins, that proximity taking angle out of the vehicle?
Well, I think the run may have been over at the very beginning. There's a big understeer right there from Alec Robbins, and whether or not the judges call that a incomplete is going to dictate whether or not there's a huge advantage for Dylan Hughes or something that Robbins can overcome in the next round. If it is an incomplete, then that would mean that Hughes would have to incomplete in his chase run in order to force a comparison of the leads. But let's take a closer look at the launch. Watch, you'll see this. It's going to be a big understeer right after initiation from Robbins. Focus your attention there. So he gets a little bit hiccup and then blocks him up. And then he has to kind of almost initiate again to get the car to angle. So I have seen mistakes like that called an incomplete. Obviously, if that was in the lead run, that would clearly be an incomplete because it would be really unchaseable. But we'll find out after the result how the judges win on that, as now Alec Robbins will go to the lead.
I mean, this has got to be one of the fastest courses. Again, we kind of took away the speed guns years ago, but the speed and the friction of this track, it's an exciting track. Because again, you start at high speeds, it gets sketchy. So here we go, Alec Robbins out front of Facetto, Nissan 350Z from Minnesota, chasing him down, Dylan Hughes, so he's taking that line. So look at where the rear tires are. Dylan is mimicking that line. Now coming to the power alley, Alec Robbins looking a lot more efficient with the cleaner air up front. Dylan Hughes doesn't get out to that the third outside zone. Let's see how he handles it here. Put an exclamation point on the run. Dylan goes deep, as does Alec Robbins, obviously out front. And there we go. Ryan, unfortunately, I think that big mistake by Alec Robbins in that chase position on that first run, that might have been, as you say, over before it even began.
Yeah, for the purpose of this replay, I'm just going to focus my attention on Dylan Hughes to see if he makes an equal or equivalent mistake, at least in our eyes up here. And you can see he's doing a pretty good job in the chase position, maintaining good pressure there, not really unsettled as a chase driver, so to speak. He does not follow the line there going into outside zone 3 with Robbins, who does a great job on inside clip number 1 as well. But in this final outside zone, he's on a much better line there and keeps the pressure on. So I'm just not seeing the mistake there from Dylan Hughes.
All right, scores are coming in. Slide him left for the dozer, Dylan Hughes, who's going for 200 miles per hour on 2 wheels on the salt flats. Follow that whole process as Dylan Hughes does get the win. Unfortunately, Alec Robbins gets knocked out. We'll see Alec in St. Louis again, coming to us from Minnesota. Becker, Minnesota, and the Facetto Nissan 350Z. So we are going back to Kazuya Taguchi and Kenshiro Gushi. Just to clarify, Ryan.
Is that what it is? All right, let me think about that deeply.
All right, if you're here in the building, be sure to stop by the Fun Haver Tour area as Von Gittin Jr., Chelsea Denofa, the RTR Boys Fun Haver Tour presented by Touring Items Type S. Today here at 3 o'clock at the Fun Haver Tour activation. Autograph signing, pit party, go hang out. Von Gittin Jr., 2-time and defending champion. Chelsea Denofa, turn it up to 11 at all times. The gold nose of the BC Racing RTR vehicle. We saw, again, we're going to see them here in just a little bit, but you can go see them during a halftime break. All right. See Ken Gushi jumping into that Pedal Commander burnout box. Kenshiro Gushi, Greddy, Toyota Gazoo Racing, Toyota Supra. He's running the 2J under the hood. Again, the VR-powered 86 of Kazuya Taguchi.
Yeah, I think what we learned from that first battle is that while Taguchi had a really good chase run overall aggressiveness, the 2 judges that went one more time didn't like that he kind of fell out of angle for a slight moment there. I think Ryan Lantane pointed out that Gushi had a lot of mistakes that he can improve on as well, just in a general sense. So I think this is an opportunity here for both drivers to kind of take what they learned from that first matchup, try to apply it here to the second one, and give themselves an opportunity to win.
Would you say it's Gucci or it's Gushi? Gucci Mane.
Yeah, this is way too difficult. You
really
got to think.
I got this one.
Stop there.
Yeah. And was he eating Moochies? And his dog, Gushi's dog's name is Moochie, I believe, as well. He's keeping it Gucci with Moochie, eating Moochies. Oh, and hear this, Ryan. You talked about the 50 Cent parts, not the rapper, but 50 Cent parts affecting the outcome, and Ken Gushi has called a competition timeout. So unfortunate, again, these gosh darn Gushi gremlins are showing up. So the Greddy Toyota Racing GR Supra is heading back to the pits. So Kazuya Taguchi will obviously head back as well, and we will get our next duo up here on deck. So again, Dylan Hughes advances on. Wonder where Jonathan Hurst is and Castro. They should be, all right, looks like they are at the burnout box. So we will be seeing, ideally, there he is. And that looks like Jonathan Hurst. That is Mr. Hurst in that Pedal Commander burnout box, and Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic out back. Hey, the #1 nationwide push-to-talk carrier is back, Nextel. Please go to nextelcommunications.com to sign up today. And again, Torque Drift. If you haven't downloaded today, it's go time. Drift your favorite pro cars on the new Formula Drift Monroe track, now live on Torque Drift. You could drive with Chelsea DeNova, Adam LZ, Matt Field, Vaughn Gittin Jr., and more in-game. Download for free on iOS, Android, and PC now. Jonathan Hurst from Paducah, Kentucky, going against Jonathan Castro. Fairly equally horsepowered vehicles, two very different setups. You got the big LS, you got the 4-cylinder turbo of Castro. Castro likes the ovals, Ryan.
Yeah, he does. And I think what's going to be important here, depending on what actually transpired with Jonathan Hurst, is kind of determining why that competition timeout was needed, and hopefully it isn't something that is going to play a role in this overall battle. I'd like to get a clean start here, let both drivers drive their hearts out, and find out who's going to be moving on into the top 16.
And Jonathan Hurst qualified very well yesterday. One of the loudest cars. When that thing backfires, it just pops, locks, and drops it. Jonathan Hurst qualified 8th. Jonathan Castro right there on that cutoff line, qualifying 25th. If he All right, so Jonathan Hurst in that Cash Racing G37. Jonathan Castro in that chase position. And here we go. We got a clean start. Now remember, keep in mind the chase car can leave the lights or leave the line. It looks like speaking. Oh, wow. Okay, we got a fender. He's throwing some signs there.
Yeah, I actually that's the first I've ever seen that one.
He was raising his hand. I think he had a question. He has a question. Was that a restart? Yes, it was.
Well, we know hood, hatch, or anything latchable can result in an incomplete. I've not seen a fender pop up like that before, but certainly they're probably going to want to take that off. Somebody just said to me that happened last round as well. Okay, so
yeah, let's before we. And we could see there in the pits with Ken Gucci what exactly is going on. And we saw him quickly get out of the car, but did they even pop the hood? What do you think's going on here? So look, the fender's ripped off.
Yeah, I think they had to do that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that could have played a role. That even might have hit the cone or something. All right, so it's a restart. Jonathan Hurst.
That's an attrition we're talking about, right?
Yep, Hurst and Castro. Clean start now. Here we go. Jonathan Hurst is going to initiate. There he goes. Castro right there in tow. Hurst looking a little cockeyed there, minus that headlight, but still putting down some serious angle and throwing some more at it as they enter into the power alley. Like I said, firing off. That thing is firing on all cylinders as they go through the power alley outside zone 3 into that first and only inside clip and finally bring it on home. Castro, I thought he would have seized the opportunity, but wasn't exactly where Cash Racing, Castro. We got all these name blends right now, but Ryan, let's look at it again.
Yeah, taking a look from the big bank, you can see that both drivers from the onset look pretty solid here. Castro falls back for a second, but we do see some wavering and a lower line from him, even though Jonathan Cash is also not all the way up against the bank. And, you know, Castro may have a little bit too much grip in his car. He was kind of surging forward. Doesn't really fully seem settled here. Now, Hurst is going to come around that inside clip. Much better job there. But look at Castro. He's taking that tighter line to try to gain proximity in a very noticeable part of the course for the judges right there before outside zone 4. We've got a great perspective there. So switching things up now, Jonathan Castro will take the lead as Jonathan Hurst chases him down.
All right, well, here we go as Castro will now lead the Jerdot Metal Dom Mobile One Toyota Racing. 86 will be out front. Like I said, that chase car can leave the start line prior to the lights extinguishing. It looks like we got a clean start. Castro goes and initiates high on the bank. Really good delivery there from Castro. Shaking it down into the power alley. Look at Jonathan Hurst all over him. But I'll tell you what, Castro with a very proper line. Good transition from him. Jonathan Hurst with a strong chase run. What are your thoughts here? Because again, the first run, little bit wonky there from kind of both drivers, but Castro definitely had a cleaner lead.
He got up a little bit higher, I think, more consistently and longer on the big bank. Here it is from the drone. You can see he's on a higher line here. Hurst is starting to close the door a little bit, but he's not actually able to get fully door-to-door or on the exact line that Castro had until maybe about midway through. A little bit of a tighter line in the chase there, but keeping the pressure on through inside clip 1 after leaving outside zone number 3. And here, a great job by Castro out front getting into that zone, but he was not able to really shake Hurst. And Hurst didn't have, you know, that mistake where he came in on a tighter line. And so we find ourselves in a good battle here, and we're already hearing the side-by-side. So that means the judges are wanting to give this a closer look as we await the victor of Jonathan Hurst versus Jonathan Castro.
All right, as they wait, remember we have the OMT of Taguchi and Gucci, but he called his competition timeout. We're talking about Ken Gucci. And Hurst utilized his. I do not envy the judges in this scenario. I definitely want to talk to Lantain if we do get a result, or we will get a result either one of 3 ways. No, we're not. We're just going to buffer this whole time. Here is our BC Racing Go for Gold. BC Racing official suspension of Formula Drift side-by-side instant replay.
Yeah, so I know that the judges are going to want to look at that, see that mistake that Castro made there in the chase where he was kind of wavering around. I thought maybe his car might have been a little bit too gripped up. And whether or not the consistency of Jonathan Hurst in the chase is it kind of enough to be putting favor into one driver's corner versus the other. So there it is, the side-by-side, Jonathan Castro versus Jonathan Hurst. Who's going to win here and move on into the top 16?
All right. And
I think Jonathan won.
Yeah,
that's my
guess.
guess.
What you think?
Yeah.
Oh, you think Jonathan? Yeah. Sorry, I was getting like an emergency text there. Yeah. So Jonathan Hurst, Jonathan Castro, Jonathan won either way, and you can see Matt Sopa just chilling there, hanging out, looking all tough. And here we go. Scores are in. Do you think we have a victor? John's going to win either way. One more time. One more time. So another one more time battle. Ryan Lantain going to you, and it is unanimous. Lantain, your thoughts and the sentiments from the judging panel.
I remember after the first run hearing somebody say neither driver really did a great job. You know, there were some errors. You had pointed out Castro's error at the end of outside zone number 1. And in the lead, Jonathan wasn't really doing a great job either. So go to the next battle. It looked like Castro had a cleaner lead and Jonathan Hurst had a cleaner chase. So it's kind of like one won the lead, one won the chase, but not really at the same time. It's just a lot of mistakes, so we want to see it again, and hopefully somebody will put together a clean lead and a clean chase and come out on top.
Either way, Jonathan will win.
Yeah.
So when you say Jonathan, it could go either way.
So Castro, is that actually pronounced Jonathan, or?
It is Jonathan, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's Jahan, that's not Tahan. All right, competition timeout. Ken Gucci, Jen Horsey. What went down with the Gooch?
Man, poor Gent. That's a new car for him and a ton of teething problems. He just used 3 minutes of his only competition timeout to change a serpentine belt because in the burnout box, he lost power steering. Don't expect that to plague him into this battle. Should be a good one to watch.
All right, well, thank you very much as we see Ken Gucci and Kazuya Taguchi on the line. And here we go. So this is a one more time battle. Remember, Gooch having that problems. Thank you, Jen. As Kazuya Taguchi, looks like Gucci now gets close. Taguchi, nice and high on the bank. We are seeing good proximity, but Gucci does need to get a little higher. He does that right there towards the latter portion of the track, set him up for the power alley. Surging forward to the side of Taguchi, actually exceeding the front nose of that vehicle. Throws him a bit offline on that inside clip, and Taguchi digs deep. Gucci just a little bit shallower. So good, exciting. Was it dialed?
Definitely cleaned up from Ken Gucci on this second battle in the chase position. But Taguchi, once again, he gets a good jump out of the gate. You can see Gucci almost coming side by side, so he's almost taking a little bit of a risk there, but he knows how Taguchi initiates, and he gets right up on the wall, and you can see the difference here. Gucci is on a tighter line. He's kind of moving around a little bit, but he's keeping good proximity. He does not follow out to outside zone 2 to Gucci, and he gets compressed there right in that momentum zone. So overall, I think Ken Gucci is doing a great job on proximity and making some mistakes that are noticeable. In the lead run, Taguchi didn't make too many mistakes. He pretty much filled the lead driver's goals, but now he's got to come back with a strong chase run here to see if he can beat Gucci and move on into the top 16. And it looks like somebody is calling a competition timeout. It has to be Taguchi because Gucci's doesn't have his anymore. So we will. Taguchi called it. So yeah, competition timeout there, and that's going to be one and done for him as well. And we're seeing quite a few of these here so far.
Oh, you mean just the competition timeout?
Yeah.
One and done. Yeah. This track, we announcer cursed, attrition, talking about it, vehicles getting beat up, taking a lot of abuse 4 rounds prior, a lot of contact, a lot of abuse, and now this might, give Ken Gucci an opportunity to take a look at his vehicle too. They can't change tires, so we'll see more drifting when we come back. We'll be right back here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship.
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
At Holley, we're gearheads too, so we decided to create a one-stop shop for all things automotive, a place we call Motor Life. Motor Life is Holley's new completely free digital magazine that houses the how-to stories, car features, news, and videos that car folks love. To check it out, head on over to motorlife.com and don't forget to subscribe to our Motor Life newsletter so you won't miss any of this great car-centric content.
My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. NOS, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? The Throwdown, a.k.a. the battle in Seattle, round 5. The Formula Drift Pro Championship continues here. It's pandemonium down in the pits. This guy's breaking. This one's called comp timeout. This guy, get your helmet on. Let's go. It's time to race. We're ready to throw down here. Again, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Quite a contrast from yesterday. It was hot. It was blazing about 90 degrees. A little cooler today, but I feel like you go tank top, flip-flop, depending on kind of your gear, your core temp. Maybe some people are in hoodies and pants. I'm seeing a lot of LZ shirts out there. A lot of them. If you're an LZ fan, make some noise. Yeah, there's a strong LZ contingency out here, but who's pulling for Matt Field out there? Oof. And also, I think I don't know if there's any Chelsea Denofa fans out there. Okay, yeah, there's a few. His wife, notably, but overall, it's just scattered all over, but a large contingent of LZ fans.
Yeah, and just hearing some information back from the break, the verbatim quote was, "It is pandemonium in the pit right now," right? You kind of alluded to it, but basically, because of the one more time, some of the teams are not able to keep up with the tire changing as quickly enough. And then we also have all these competition timeouts happening back to back to back. And drivers down the line that are waiting for their turn, you know, are having a hard time keeping up, getting ready to go. So they're saying it is super active in the pit now and really crazy back there.
Yep. And remember, get your tickets now, title fight, because we are crowning a champion October 22nd, October 23rd. We're going to be partying. It's going to be a good time, the House of Drift. And yeah, we're really pumped for that. The Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Nexen tires. Carnage says it on that rear quarter. He got into it yesterday, lived up to his name. Carnage with a K, went to the wall, went center of the track. He is going for it. And look at this. I mean, yeah, just do the math there. Dean, you're twice the age of the gentleman you're going against. Brandon Sorensen, 16 years old, driving that BMW against Dean Carnage Carney. So as they get ready, Brandon Sorensen qualifying 4th, the youngest driver ever to qualify and compete in Formula Drift competition, is going against Dean Carnage Carney, coming to us all the way from Ireland. All right, so Brandon Sorensen, who's really just risen to the occasion, progressed a lot, and of course Dean Carnage, just an exciting driver to watch, the lone Viper in competition. Here we go, Brandon Sorensen out of the gates. We got a clean start, Brandon Sorensen. Manji's into that initiation, the outside zone, and Dean Carnage Carney definitely getting close, knocking on his door. Definitely not mimicking the angle, and there he goes. Now throw some more angle at it into the power rally. Getting bathed in smoke right now. Bath and Body Works, no soap bombs here, just smoke bombs into that front clip. And into that final zone. That was a weird line by Brandon Sorensen. You saw him kind of beeline into it and went really deep. I thought he was going to get into the wall.
The composure by Sorensen is actually pretty notable here, Jared. I mean, Carney really kind of straightened up and went right into the side of Sorensen. And I think we saw a little bit of material fly there, but you know, you can see he was able to kind of stick with it. You can imagine hearing that Viper breathing down your throat or your back or whatever, and he's not really making an adjustment. It's not till here where he pushes a little bit wide, doesn't get into the wall, but as you said, made a little bit of a mistake there. Kearney very aggressive in the chase, and I think that's where we may have seen a little bit of contact, but Sorensen able to kind of ride it off there and not really fall prey to that. So we'll take a look and see how the judges feel about that run overall. Kearney having a solid season of his own. They'll mix things up now and as he will go to the lead.
Yeah, Dean Carney currently sitting 7th in points. So as much kind of interesting turn of events for his season, he's still in the top 10. So a lot of people pulling for him. Be sure to tag us at Formula D on all the social media networks if you're watching at home or here in the building. Hashtag FDSEA. Lights are illuminated, extinguished, and out. So here we go. Dean Carnage Carney, a slow trickle. Now he's going to turn up the volume here. Dean Carney initiates. Gets high in the bank, a lot more composure out front. That front lip clapping, flapping in the wind. And look at this massive angle here from Dean Carney. Coming to that power rally, fills all that second outside zone. Brandon Sorensen maybe a little bit timid from the Viper. And there we go, transitions back in that last outside zone. Brandon Sorensen does take that similar line in that chase position. Thought Brandon was gonna have a little more for him, but Dean he was piecing out.
Well, this young prospect trying to take out a veteran here, Dean Carney, car 4-3 in the lead this time around. Looking pretty good in the lead position. Let's take a look at this one more time. Nice little snap there at the second standing cone. Mid-high line getting higher for Carney. You can see a little bit lower there for Sorensen. Not fully in attack mode as he tries to close the door going into outside zone 2. Both drivers doing a pretty good job there, but both also missing it. And more of the fault there for Kearney as Sorensen just using him as a moving clipping point. There we see Dean doing a much better job on that final outside zone. And Sorensen trying to put the pressure on, but not really able to close the door there towards the end. So both runs in the books. Let's find out if we've got a winner here in the top 32 and who's going to be moving on into the top 16, as we are already hearing the side-by-side being requested from the judges. And we're already sitting on 2 one more times. Kazuya Taguchi and Ken Gushi, and Jonathan Hurst and Jonathan Castro.
What is that?
What's the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds? But what's your take on why so many one more times? If you take a look at the BC Racing Custom coilovers, the official suspension of Formula Drift go for gold, but what do you attribute all the one more times and the kind of close battles to?
Well, I think, you know, it was a mixture of mistakes for some of the battles. I mean, I kind of think that Taguchi, I agree with Ryan's perspective on the Taguchi first battle, which leaves us with Hurst and Castro, and I think that one is just a mixture of mistakes. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint who had the better lead comparisons, the better chase comparisons, and in that one, I think that's pretty well justified, and it was unanimous.
Yeah, and I would say don't leave it in the judge's hands. Keep it tight, keep it right. You know, there's some kind of wonkiness. I thought Brandon was going to give him a little bit more, but Dean's, you know, his kind of, you know, seniority, you know, conditions with this track. He, you know, doesn't particularly like this track, but he's had some success here. So I think, you know, you got to like it because of that. If you take another bird's eye view here.
Yeah, and I think the mistake that Dean made in the chase with contact is one of the main factors that they're looking at here. Now, it was an aggressive mistake, and we certainly want to keep that into consideration. But overall, you know, you have to look at the comparison between both runs and whether or not somebody did edge out the other driver on the things that are supposed to be goals for them, whether it's in the lead position or the chase position.
Looks like our NGK competition timeout of Kazuya Taguchi is over. Gucci pulling to the line. You can see him in the background. Speaking of NGK, do spark plugs time out? Yeah, they sure do. And timely spark plug replacement not only prevents fouling and provides the best engine performance, it ensures less repair time and can save you money on unnecessary repairs. Visit ngksparkplugs.com to learn more about OE-suggested spark plug intervals and find the best plug for your engines. NGK, the ignition specialist. We are here still in the NOS Energy Drink Top 32. We are waiting for the outcome of Sorensen and Carney. You can see the BMW and the Viper waiting. The Toyota GR Supra in the background, running BC. Speaking of BC, we got some deals that I'll share with you later. Brian Crower, Sorensen, Carney, look at this one more time. And another one more time.
Oh,
Ryan,
my goodness.
We're going to be here all night, man. I mean, we're scheduled to go till 8. Lontaine, over to you. I hope your mic's on. You there, buddy?
I hope everybody brought a lot of tires with them this round.
For more reasons than one.
These are not one more times that are. There are different types of one more times. There's the really close to one more time where we can't choose a winner because everything is so great. And then there are the one more times where there are multiple mistakes from both drivers in both the lead and the chase positions. And there's just no way to find a winner because of the different mistakes in different areas on the track. You had Dean Carney with low angle but good proximity on outside zone 1. And then you had Brendan Sorensen, who had the same angle but was further away and a little bit lower on the bank. So you can't really find a winner there. Brendan Sorensen had a big decel at outside zone number 4 where he dropped the tire, hit the cone. And then you had Dean Carney. They both missed an outside zone 2 in one case, outside zone 3 in the other in the lead position. So just a lot of errors, and there's just no way to find a winner from that.
Appreciate the insight. And of course, yeah, like you said, a lot of tires. Those mistakes, looks like we are good to go with this battle. Gucci and Taguchi, and cars are on the line.
Some people think we should outlaw one more time. What do you think about that?
Oh. I admittedly, I'm hearing fancy boo. I mean, homeboy down here, he's got old school one more time foam fingers. But I'd like to say do one more time and that's it. Okay. Not the endless, the never-ending story. I don't want to betray you this week. So here we go. Ken Gucci, Kazuya Taguchi. And look at that, Taguchi. He might. Oh, that's going to be an incomplete. Wow, look at this. So Kenshiro Gucci might be given a gift. Now remember, Gucci does need to complete the entirety of this run because Taguchi is the chase driver. The lead driver needs to continue on. And it looks like Gucci is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds away. And that will be a major advantage for Kenshiro Gucci. The question is, Kazuya Taguchi, can he even run? So what's going to happen here is Kazuya will lead, but he can't put hands on his car. He is still limping as he just crosses that finish line, the up garage ISR.
We're probably getting our timeline twisted a little bit here because that was Gucci leading, so that was the second run.
Oh, that was?
Yeah, so that's going to be 2 scored runs for Gucci and 1 for Taguchi, so there's really no way to come back from this one. I think, you know, a lot of people are going to be looking at that first battle where the judges were relatively split, but at the end of the day, Taguchi was not able to finish this run with the scored run here.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, we're bouncing all around here. So yeah, with that major advantage, that will mean that Ken Gucci unofficially will move on. But yeah, another guy that's having some issues, Jen Horsey, is with Castro.
So we're seeing a car pull up to the start line without competition waiting for him. This is the guy that's supposed to be waiting for him in that one more time battle, Jonathan Castro. What happened?
So yeah, we've been having a rough weekend for the boys. We're supposed to be running right now, which I would love to be, give you guys a good show, to put door-to-door battles and having a good time. But sadly, we just put another engine out. Looks like a head gasket blew up. It's too much power. We're just trying to push harder as we can. Everyone is pushing hard, so we have to just come in and do it. So we try it. It went in the wrong direction. So I guess I'll see you guys in Seattle and St. Louis. Sorry.
It's been very tough out there, hard on the cars, so much going on. We're only in the top 32, so much left to hahappen.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a bummer. Thank you, Jen, and of course, thank you, Castro. We will see you in St. Louis. It's easy to confuse, like Kenshiro Gucci and Kazuya Taguchi. STL, Seattle, no, St. Louis. Yeah, so STL, both of them. But unfortunately, bummer for Castro. You know who's stoked about that? He's on the start line. That is Jonathan Hurst. As we wait for the results from Gucci and Taguchi, you have to assume it's going to go the way of Ken Gucci. All right, scores should be in there for Gucci and Taguchi as Hurst is waiting. So this will be, basically, this is just going through the formalities. Jonathan Hurst will show that his car is able to run, so slide him right for Kenshiro Gucci. A little bit of good luck there for him. Unfortunately, bad luck pays off for Ken Gucci, but Kazuya Taguchi is knocked out. Kenshiro Gucci, the OG, will move on, a day oneer since 2004. That Greddy Toyota GR Supra will move on, Ryan.
Yeah, it's a big move right there for Ken Gucci and a tough break for Taguchi, who, as you said, in that top 10 in points, definitely don't want that 32 out. But Gucci will get another opportunity here, moving on into the top 16.
Jonathan Hurst, minus that passenger headlight and fender, got the bumper knocked off, will advance on, and Hurst will be going against Dylan Hughes in the top 16. So, Ryan, all this driving, all these one more times, comp timeouts, all of that, all things considered, we are only 4 winners into the top, making their way in the top 16.
Yes, but it also went pretty fast after we've seen some of these issues that the vehicles had, and now all of a sudden we've got 4 guys. We've got half of the left-hand side of the bracket ready to go, and we are quickly making our way to one of the most anticipated battles that was referenced in the pre-show, and that's Odi Bakchis versus Chelsea Denofa.
I'll lay out and listen. Jonathan Hurst advances on to the top 16, that Cash Racing G37. That vehicle's obviously seen better days, but you know what? Just as long as it runs, it's good, and it's obviously very loud, one of the loudest vehicles out here on track. Now he has an opportunity and some time, so he's gonna, during that halftime break from now till the opening ceremonies, I'm sure him and his Cash Racing team are gonna be thrashing on that vehicle. Again, Paducah, Kentucky's own Jonathan Hurst will advance on to top 16. You can see the pedal commander burnout box being utilized by our next driver and our next competitors. That is it's Eve Meyer, and we are seeing Jeff Jones. So Eve Meyer and Jeff Jones, this BMW, the Drift Force BMW, and also join the Falcon Tire drivers during the halftime session. Again, at this round and other rounds. You could obviously see Odi Bakchis, a real championship contender here this year, Justin Pollock, JTP, Dai Yoshihara, the former champ, and Matt Field, our current points leader, coming to this round. They'll be over there at the Falcon Tires booth. So go join them, get the autograph, Team Falcon Tires. All right, Eve Meyer and Jeff Jones on the start line.
I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but I just saw a fire truck head into the burnout box. So there is something happening here, and now we're seeing the other safety vehicle head that way. Let's see if we can get some insight from anybody that is directly there. It does.
Oh,
that's
Hurst? Jonathan Hurst. So
Okay.
yeah, I saw him pull off to the dirt. I was like, why did he go to the dirt? So obviously, remember I was telling you he's going to thrash on his vehicle during the halftime break, starting now. Well, literally got
he pulled over right now.
Yeah, he's extinguishing the fire. Man, craziness ensuing here at the Throwdown, the Battle in Seattle, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more drifting action here in the Top 32, the NOS Energy Drink Top 32, the official energy drink of Formula Drift.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. NOS Energy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlic technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
The Pedal Commander is the world's most advanced throttle response controller. It's a plug-and-play unit that unleashes the power of your vehicle. Has 36 total settings, is easy to install, and makes the driving experience so much more fun.
Picks up RPMs way better, kind of like a race car, it responds.
Order now and use code FD2021 for $30 off your purchase.
Stefan Papadakis, team owner of the Rockstar Energy Drink GR Supra Drift Team that Frederick Osbo drives. And today we're talking about angle of the car and basically how we get these cars to drift at really high angles. So in order to drift at really high angles, first thing you need is a lot of steering angle, because really generally you can only drift with as much angle as you can get with the steering. Stock is about 30, 35 degrees of steering angle. We're over 60, close to 70 degrees of steering angle. And in order to do that, we run a totally different WiseFab suspension, and all the spindle and the upper control arms and everything has been changed for a drift specific. And some of the things that are changed are the geometry for the amount of caster. Caster is the angle from the top pivot point on the front suspension to the pivot of where the spindle operates. So that is the caster, and depending on how you turn, it'll change the dynamic camber of the front wheel. Caster trail is where that line, how much setback you have from that line of where the wheel is actually pivoting. So we might draw an angle of, let's say, 6 degrees of caster, and then if we set it back an inch or two, then we've got an inch or two of caster trail. So that would be like the shopping cart part, and then the caster part is the traditional, like the front of a bicycle, or like a beach cruiser, or like a big Harley has a bunch of caster, and then maybe like a street bike has a lot less caster on the front end. And yeah.
So some guys like to run a little bit more Ackerman. Back in the day, guys used to cut knuckles, and that would give you a ton of Ackerman. So the car would have very good steering feel. It would have really good self-steer, but it wouldn't be that fast. So this is kind of the middle. We have to steer the car a little more. It's not so much of just letting go of the steering wheel on transitions so much anymore, but kind of walking the wheel through it as we transition. But it makes for the fastest setup and the most consistent and easy to basically follow, and not just like go to full lock and lose distance from the other car. We also do a lot with dampening setup. So especially on a track like this in Orlando here, it's very bumpy coming off the bank. It's very bumpy through the center section, and you need to have the right spring rates and the right dampening setup for your car on the specific track with the specific tires that you run and what pressures in the tires you run. The tire can act like a spring and a shock also. So if you have a really stiff setup, sometimes it's just the tire that's bouncing around. If you have a really soft setup, sometimes you get this weird oscillation and the car does like a lot of bounces and wiggles around a lot, and it's really hard to drive. So having a very good set of shocks on the car makes a big difference.
This is pretty close to lock. It's really hard to get lock static because there's jacking that plays into effect on the front end, which helps weight transfer. So that's another thing that you want to kind of like take into consideration when you're working on an angle kit is how the front end affects the rear end to get more grip. So it's not only about making angle, but it's also about like transferring weight to get more grip into the car. I mean, these cars we're fighting how much horsepower, how much grip, and that balance of both to get as much angle but still get a lot of like forward momentum and forward push to go fast through the track. There's so many cars that are just rocket ships out here, so you can't run like too much angle where you're scrubbing too much speed. You just have to find that balance. And you know, these tires help out a lot too. Switching to the 660 on the front, these things are super grippy, and we had to make some adjustments because there was so much more grip than the old setup. But that just allows you to get a little bit more aggressive with things, dial more grip into the rear because you have more grip in the front as well, which is very helpful. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of like my setup. It's a little bit adjustable, not as adjustable as other kits out there, but two, I think if you put too much into the end user's hand, they can make mistakes in the setup or not really know how to tune it properly. So I kind of just set it and forget it. I kind of send my kits out with what I think works well, and there's some adjustability in it, you know, caster, and you can obviously adjust toe and camber. But my Ackerman is pretty much set where I like to drive, and it seems to work out pretty well for a lot of people.
Every single link and arm, top mount even for the front shocks, is all aftermarket, and it's custom suited for massive angle and to correct the suspension geometry, because we lower these cars quite a bit for low center of gravity. So that being done, everything has to be recalculated so the roll center is just perfect, and then obviously somehow we have to squeeze out about 65 degrees of steering angle out of these cars. You gotta be very mindful when you do that. If you squeeze out that much angle and things aren't done right, say your steering rack isn't in the right position, your Ackerman's gonna be through the roof, it's gonna be super negative or way too positive. And if you get greedy with angle without addressing some of the fundamental geometry little tricks, you're gonna have binding issues. The car's just gonna be undrivable at that angle. I'm really happy with it. Tracks that are bumpy, all of that could be dialed, but the car won't really perform unless you have awesome suspension on it, good coilovers, the right spring rate, the right damping ratio, and a lot of spectrum of adjustability, because some tracks are just bumpier than others, and in order to soak up the bumps, not blow through the mechanical travel, you got to be able to adjust the compression independent of the rebound to get the car not to blow through the travel, and the rebounds responsible for the car not oscillating repeatedly when you go over a bump, but yet you don't want to slow down rebound too much because you want to shift weight, transfer weight, so the car actually has decent traction. So many things go into making a pro level drift car perform at massive angle and to grip up and be able to lay down really good runs.
So there we go. We've got a little bit of action on track that we don't like to see. You can see that is the remnants of oil from Jonathan Hurst that was found after he pulled off to the side. You can see that big long line there as we start to clean up the oil that was laid down. We have yet to hear from the competition staff whether or not they will give drivers a siding lap because of the location of that oil. And that may play a role in how things move forward. So we will quickly try to dry this up. Hurst is now off track. We don't know the conclusion of where the problem started for him, but we will keep an eye on it and we will report back to you as we finish cleaning the oil spill here and get to the remainder of the top 32.
Kevin Wells is the best person in Formula Drift.
On video.
Best person.
Yeah.
Wow.
How very PC. You didn't him, his, hers, or?
Oh.
Oh no.
Now I'm very.
They should have went down there.
No, I mean once they take off the line and it goes blah. Blah.
Yeah, and it just
there goes
pumps black
there goes
smoke.
our oil.
So rich.
We'll go this way like a foot.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Come on.
1, 2, 3. Hey, Kevin.
Fixing the lights.
This right here.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay.
These are all off.
All right. Yeah, that's the new one.
New one?
Yeah. So now the light doesn't pass through it like it used to. Before you could see through it.
Oh.
Now you can't. And it has all different LEDs in it. How are you doing?
Good.
Good?
Yeah. What did I have? We were playing with that funny diff change the other day.
Yeah.
I was trying to run the track in third. I'm like, we're at RPM. We got to change the diff. Yeah, let me try fourth. Oh yeah, it worked great.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Good deal.
Warm
No cameras. No cameras.
Put her in kill mode.
Exactly.
Ah. Well, it just looks like air messages.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
E-brake slide just unders into the grass. All of those are 275s. It is interesting seeing them with competition only in the main with Patriot Ride.
So how was it?
Hard.
First experience at Road Atlanta?
Yeah, it's slippery. Very slippery.
Slippery, huh?
Yeah. We can't get enough traction.
What's up? How you doing? Just thinking about some tire pressure stuff. Okay. What am I at? Oh, wow. Is that about right? All right. Okay. Just checking the calibration. Yeah, edit that out. Yeah. No, brand new fancy guy. Yeah, I've had one of those before. They're good. Yeah. Yeah, they're good. So yeah, just trying to see whatchamacallit. Thinking of rules. I like it. I'm on board. Try to see maybe we can balance some things out. You can protest it one more time, just like you would a regular one, right?
Yep.
Okay. He's gonna go for it by himself or what? I don't know. Nobody here. Right there.
But I get to a certain amount of lock and the steering keeps binding up. Fight all weekend fight.
Just over centers and locks up.
I guess so. You know, we've been changing rack stops, alignment. I put an FDF kit on this morning.
As long as that guy's plugged into that guy. So if you want to pull that up and make your magic. Yeah, I was like, Jason, I only have one side, bro.
Wires fit.
Thank you. You want to pop that headlight out of there? Or does that hold everything together?
Together. Needs to be replaced. Ripped at the nipple, so luckily it was long enough that they just rerouted it, I think.
That's not the brightest place to put your boost control solenoid behind
There's
your,
a reason those things live on
between
the
your
firewall.
headlight and your tire on a drift car.
Yeah.
Looks cleaner that way, but that's not good. Uh-oh, what you getting into now?
Misfire as soon as I left the line.
Oh.
I had no throttle at the bottom of the hill. Tried to drop it to third to try to get something and just washed out, nothing. It was real close to touching on full bump to the chassis, and we got a bump, and it blew the canister off the shock, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's right, I could feel just bouncing.
So you didn't actually hit each other?
We tapped a little bit, but it was nothing like
That didn't do that. Might as well turn it on while we're trampling through the forest trying to fix cones. What do you do?
Okay, 87.
So you're in? 3118.
Cool. I was not far off with the 30 to 120. I checked it at the shop
Damn
prior.
good. Damn good.
And he told me what it was the other day. Well, I was singing it, just minding my own business, and then here came this big old Viper. Bam! Nailed me, bro. So, bottom of the hill? Bottom of the hill, right at intercept 1. So we're just gonna check, make sure our tow's good, our camber's good. It looks like maybe it's out a little bit. Hopefully it's just, we can dial it back in and get back out there. Jones and those guys are set in tow. Snap the tape measure. Oh, jeez.
Ready to drop the jack. Get that jack stand out. Jack stand out. Hit it. Hit it.
Jack stands out. Go down.
Hit it. Hit it. Go. Go. Go.
Go down.
5. Down. Down. Drop it down. Go down. Go.
Hey, guys.
Time.
Who's got it? Odie. What do you think? One more time? I think we got tires for one more time. We can't keep doing that. Now they're working the front.
Yeah, it like towed the rear of Odie's car in, tacoed the tire on, and then they're crashing on it. Matt Fields on the jack. You gotta get out, you gotta get out. And they like cinched it. And like,
Feel still straight, Matt?
car fired up at 1.
That's 12. Tighten her up.
I'm like, no hood. I'm like, oh god. Then I had to stop him because he was about to blast off and his helmet was on the roof.
Looks like he basically damaged the strut, so we're changing the right front strut.
230.
230. So, 245.
45.
There you go. At the end, we should do a tandem first, second, third, up and through.
So sick. It would be so dope.
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
My name is Farouk Kouaim.
Hey, I'm Justin Pollock.
What's up? I'm Jeff Jones.
Hey guys, Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver, and I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Guys, I'm here with Chelsea Denofa. He said yesterday that his strategy wasn't to qualify highest, but maybe lowest, so he could always chase first. But I heard you talking before the drivers' meeting this morning. You're going to meet Odie. You mentioned maybe you didn't mean to qualify that low?
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean to have to take a second lap. That was kind of, it's good though. I got the practice lap. I'm excited about that. But yeah, overall, we pulled Odie in top 32, which, I mean, I'm going to have to battle him at some point, and I'm going to have to beat him at some point. So I think this is the best way to do it for points and all of that. Obviously, we don't know exactly who we're going to get in the battle, how we qualify, because everybody gets a different score and how it shuffles up. But overall, it's one of those things where when you qualify purposefully in the back half, then you're definitely going to get some good drivers, and I pulled one of the best right off the bat. So we just got to take them out and move forward.
Sets up a very exciting battle in the top 32 round.
It does.
Zip tie like this? Did you zip tie like to the oil cooler light?
It seems like you're filling the zone, but you're filling it too soon. And you need to hold off on before you actually get to the outside zone for a little bit later because you're coming off of it.
We're in the yellow. Do we have another bottle? No. Tommy didn't bring bottles?
Better, getting way better. And make one more adjustment to the launch. It's still binding up the launch.
As soon as my steering rack is tight, my amazing time pops to the stars. Ra-ta-ta-ta!
Hey, I knew you wouldn't miss an engine change, huh? 42 minutes right now. Yeah.
Best part? Oh, I'm guessing Taylor Holt lost his crank sensor. So he just rolls up, asks Odie, do you have a crank sensor? And he's like, yep, hold on. They're pulling one out, so. Beauty of drifting right there.
The newer one's with 5 minutes and 58, so don't worry. Yeah.
All right, I'll get that other one tonight.
Ah, my crank sensor. And that's how it goes. Someone has it, and when you need a part and you don't have it, you know someone else has it. So it comes around.
Custom Sparkos. Dude, Odie, you gotta step up your slipper
I
game.
like these, man. Those jewelry kind of remind me of like Nacho!
Yeah, dude, you need to like.
We need a full on
you need a little feel right
Librador
there.
mask.
Hey man, it's just 3 vaccinated dudes hanging out in the
You know the weather is perfect because I haven't taken my gloves off.
We're doing this. We are doing this.
We're in Atlanta. It's round number 1.
Not bad for a rookie. Who'd you go against? Trenton Beecham. First win of Formula Drift Pro 1.
Because I want to go back and watch from the spotters tower.
Yeah, let me pull these burners off so I can get them swapped.
Okay.
Look, guys, 2021. You can't be laughing at stuff like that, Mario.
You need to know.
No, you can't. You're hurting my feelings.
Sorry.
My bad. Sorry, bud.
I woke up and I was like T-boning Justin in turn 1. I fell asleep. And I woke up and I was like, oh, that was weird. Testing out a new angle kit, and that's his first lap on it.
That sounds like a good time to try something new.
Well, yesterday he had binding problems and the car was like locking up and he was just spinning. So then they said, all right, like let's just throw on another angle.
You just found that out?
So, yep,
Let's go. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back, and we are ready to see some running. Thanks for joining us out here. Thank you for your patience. Obviously, not what we wanted to see, oil on track, but want to make sure it's cleaned up. So we are actually allowing, until we feel comfortable and the drivers feel comfortable, we're going to do what's called a sight lap. So each driver individually, they could do what they want. They could drift. They could just kind of, grip, go back and forth. But the stipulation is they cannot change tires after this. So this is basically what you call sight lap. They'll make their way through the course just as Brandon Sorensen is making his way through the course right now. Remember, we have the one more time of Sorensen and Dean Carney. So he'll make his way through it, see what's going on. Carney will do the same, make sure everything's good, comfortable, cannot change tires, and then we'll go ahead and send it. Ryan?
Yeah, no, definitely. Hopefully we got this out of our system. We see this from time to time as we take a look at where we're at in the bracket. We've got 4 battles in the book so far. And now we're going to be getting back to that one more time battle of Sorensen and Kearney. Yves Meyer and Jeff Jones, Odi Bakchis and Chelsea Denofa, and Adam LZ and Trenton Beecham round out the left-hand side of the bracket. And then we'll move on to the right-hand side. So getting this oil spill out of the system here, we were able to get Jonathan Hurst off of the hot pit area near the start line. And now we'll be moving forward to our next battle here, number 4 qualifier, Brandon Sorensen taking on Dean Carney in this one more time battle.
Yep, the one more time battle. We saw, like we said, Lantain elaborated a lot more on that, obviously being the judge, just not leaving in their hands, just these kind of mistakes here and there as we are continuing on in the NOS Energy Drink Top 32. Brandon Sorensen, Dean Carney, again for this one. Look at this, 16 years young, as Dean is twice the age of this young buck. We saw him in that video, first ever pro victory. So again, just the progression of Sorensen, not a pushover. And like you said, Ryan, qualifying 4th yesterday, coming into today. All right. Chatter and banter is going down. Thank you so much. As now Sorensen, Carney on the start line, ready to send it. Let's get back to some drifting action. Again, thank you online for your patience as well as here. And obviously, accidents do happen. Hurst spilling some oil, and I believe he's got a lot more damage, a lot more things to worry about other than oil on the track. Here we go, Brandon Sorensen, Dean Carney, the one more time battle here in Seattle. Look at that, Brandon Sorensen, great angle. Dean Carney goes and noses in again. We saw this in their first battle, and right back at it. Into that second outside zone, into the third, through that power island. Ooh, Dean Carney coming up very short, not setting himself up for success. Comes very shallow, does not get out to that third outside zone, Ryan, and you saw with that gripping up, taking a very shallow line to the inside clip.
The closing rate of Dean Carney is just unbelievable, but he did make some mistakes on the infield here. Let's take a look at it from above. Nice initiation there by Sorensen. He quickly gets to a very high part of the bank, but look at that closing rate from Dean. Right there once again, little bit of a shimmy, but keeping the pressure on. Doing a great job there. But Sorensen clean and smooth out front, and look at that, fills outside zone 3, but Kearney on a much tighter line. He has to back off. and then get back in the fight here as Sorensen does miss that final outside zone, which leaves a bit of a door open there for Dean Carney.
All right, so Dean Carney will now lead. Brandon Sorensen will give chase. So Brandon, this is an opportunity that he could really seize the moment and get another victory here in pro competition. Let's see what we got from these two gentlemen. Dean Carney, that Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Nexen tires. And we got a clean start. Here we go. Dean Carney, past the point of no return, initiates right there at that last standing cone, 3, 2, 1. Big angle from Dean Carnage Carney, Brandon Sorensen. Dropping down quite a bit. You can see this horsepower strength being flexed into that power alley, now pulling away into that third outside zone. Brandon Sorensen, great proximity, good angle, takes out that front clip. Dean Carney now brings that final outside zone. Both of them filling it up. Brandon wasn't exactly flawless in that chase position, but I would say that the larger mistake that is glaring, very blatant, is that mistake of Carney on the first run.
Well, we've got the other rookie, Simon Olsen, going a little bit later. Brandon Sorensen in that Rookie of the Year chase. And those two positions are very close. As you said, Dean out front. Sorensen's on a tighter line here. He's a little bit down further on the bank. He tries to match up with Dean coming off the bank. Dean just gets into that outside zone 2 and deeper into 3, but Sorensen with him there, trying to close the door, comes up a little bit tight, hits that inside clip. And Dean doing a great job comparatively on that final outside zone. 2 runs in the books on this one more time. Is that enough for the judges to move somebody forward?
Yeah, I just have to think so, Ryan. Unfortunately for Dean Carney, again, comes in 7th into this round of competition. And Brandon Sorensen sitting 18th in points. This would be a great confidence booster for him. Shout out to our boy Cletus McFarland. I know he's watching at home. Shout out to Cleater. How's it going, homeboy? Hell yeah, brother. Shout out to you all the way at Freedom Factory. Matt Sopa, dude, get this guy some ice cream. He looks so angry. Why does Sopa look so mad? Should be happy. We got some organic cookies up here for him. The organic cookies have made a comeback, Ryan, from Canada a couple years ago, and we're back in full effect.
They're back. That means good things are going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. As soon as the organic cookies showed up, all things went positive. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty straight shot here, Ryan. What are you thinking?
Well, we know this side-by-side is when they want to take a deeper look, comparatively speaking. You saw Dean with that closing rate there, keeping the pressure on Sorensen. Sorensen a little bit down on the chase run as Dean fills that outside zone on his lead. But Dean right there, super tight, and makes that mistake on his chase run overall. Now, but you see Sorensen misses that outside zone. So I think there were some areas where the door could have been shut by both competitors at least once in those battles, and I think that's what the judges wanted to look for is, was there somebody that had the scale tilted in their direction, or again, is this going to be too close to call?
Look at this, I'm getting photos from Cletus. He's sitting in his inflatable pool watching the live stream right there. That's what's up. Here we go, one more time. Oh my gosh, Ryan, unbelievable. Ryan, again, this is what Lantain was talking about. You know, don't leave in the judges' hands. It's these mistakes here and there, but I would like some elaboration. Lantain, what's up, man? I mean, unanimous one more time? I love Dean, love all the drivers, like my children. You know, I got 2, I love them both, but man, what's up?
Yeah, we're stuck in this situation again where we're looking at a lot of mistakes from both drivers. On the surface, it looked like Dean had great proximity to Brandon on his chase run, but Dean had lower angle. Yes, he was close, but his angle was not great. His line was decent behind Brandon's, but again, angle very, very low. And then Brandon on his chase was lower on line. It wasn't as close, and the line was lower. So you can't say that either one of them won in that area. They both on the lead were pretty high on outside zone 1. But then Brandon missed a couple of key points in his lead. And I think that in my eyes, Brandon won the chase, and I think maybe Dean won the lead. But I can't say that either driver was dominant in both lead and chase positions. So, maybe I could have made a case for Dean had he not made that huge mistake going from outside zone 3 to inside clip 1.
Right.
But he did make that mistake. You know, had Brandon not missed outside zone 4 entirely in his lead, maybe I could have made the case for him. But when I look at all these different errors from both drivers, there's no way to make one run better than the other, or one driver better than the other in both positions. So it's just a case of the drivers needing to clean up their runs, stop making those little errors that add up into a big problem for us when it comes to trying to figure out a winner.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that for sure. There's definitely mistakes that, if they hadn't happened, probably would have pushed it one direction or the other, right? Dean doesn't cut the line there on between outside zone 2 and 3, or outside zone 3 and inside clip 1. Sorensen fills the final outside zone 4 on his lead, you know, that stuff of that nature.
Yeah, it's, you know, in the briefings, I didn't do it this round, and maybe it's my fault, but I usually say, when you're at the start line, think of my voice. Calm yourself down and just focus on your lead driver responsibilities. You want to run a 100-point lead run, and the drivers aren't doing that. And in chase position, they're supposed to mimic what the lead driver's doing, and they're making mistakes in that aspect as well.
Ryan, truth be told, I think that's what they want to do, and maybe you should make an ASMR video. Here we go as Yves Meyer, Jeff Jones. Yves Meyer initiates. Nice and high goes that BMW. Jeff Jones, good. Oh, it comes at an angle, comes at a drift. Jeff Jones in that chase position. Now coming into that power rally. Now keep in mind, Jeff Jones did forego his sight lap, but you can see great proximity. Like the aggressive driving, gets thrown off there. That is not what you want to do. I'll tell you what, Yves Meyer, a lot of confidence. Like you said, a genuine, enthusiastic, smiling face from this gentleman whenever you see him from Switzerland.
Yeah, he's definitely a really great guy, and he's starting to really come alive in competition here. But we've got Jeff Jones chasing him down. Yves dives in right out of the gate. Look at the front right wheel. It stays above that white line for majority, but then you have that mistake there by Jones in the chase position. Almost unforgivable in that section of the course, and something he's going to have to really correct for in his lead, in hopes that Yves makes an equal mistake in his chase position. But he gets caught up there a little bit compressed on that inside clip and has to take a little bit of a wider line, which forces him on a tighter line through that final outside zone. So Jeff Jones in a little bit of trouble here. Can he get through Yves Meyer as they switch things up?
All right, Jeff Jones now leading. Hey, Bad Chad, who do you think's going to win there, buddy? Freedom Factory, Florida. Bad Chad, what's up, homeboy? As Jeff Jones will lead, and Yves Meyer giving chase. Jeff Jones, I know he's going to throw it down for the 818. Coming out, comes swinging. Way early initiation, and Yves Meyer nowhere. He's not even in the same zip code, unfortunately. Yves Meyer, you can see him gaining ground, though. Low on the bank. Let's see how these mistakes outweigh each other. Coming to that third outside zone. Tap from Yves Meyer. Jeff Jones continues on. Look at that. Takes a licking and keeps on sticking it to the wall. Woo!
It's going to be a comparison of the leads.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a comparison of the leads, I think, on the face of it, because Jones probably incompleted in his chase, and it looks like Yves through that outside zone. Now remember that there is a decel in outside zone 3, so we want to take a closer look at that. What it basically became a collision for Yves because he stopped. But as you said, right there, he's not a factory. Very little angle in the car, much lower line. But let's draw our attention here to outside zone 3. Here's 2 and 3. Yves comes flying through. Jones is just about finishing out. It looks like Yves just kind of miffed that section of the course.
Yeah, he like compensated. He's like, oh wait, I gotta get up there, and then got up there and like, oh sorry bro, my bad.
So if that's right, then it's gonna be a comparison of the leads. And that will be what the judges are looking at, is who did the better lead run overall. So just think about that like from a mathematical perspective. The chase runs are gone from both drivers. Now they're just looking at the lead runs and who did better.
Yeah, there's the True Serum camera. Also, I think Yves Meyer got thrown off with that Manji entry. Jeff Jones, really early initiation. Now, keep in mind, for the fans that aren't aware, you know, when that lead car has the right of way, for lack of a better term, as far as initiation. You cannot impede, being the chase car, you cannot impede in the lead car's initiation. Basically, you can't block the line for them to flick it in, transition, and initiate on jump. So with Yves Meyer being pretty close, seems like he kind of got out of the way, and notably, it was actually here where kind of the start chicane got instituted and all these different things, and kind of shots fired across the nose, all that kind of came into play.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like if Yves is on the losing end of this one, he'll be kicking himself here because as we take a look, I'm just going to be looking at the leads here, who did better overall in the leads, because I feel fairly confident that that's what the judges are looking at here. As we see Yves hitting 2, but not getting as deep as Jones. Jones definitely deeper in 2 and 3. Now remember, Jones's lead may have been impacted by that hit there, but he definitely shakes it off really well. Man. So I think this may be, a situation where had Yves stayed a little bit less aggressive in that section of the course, which is a momentum zone area, drivers can slow down there. We probably wouldn't be seeing this. Here we go.
Slide him left for Yves Meyer, right for Jeff Jones, and there it is. So Ryan, unfortunately for Yves Meyer, seemed that he was going to have a major advantage here, but Jeff Jones comes out on top. Jeff Jones moves on into the top 16, that 818 Edelbrock powered Nissan 370Z. So just making our way throughout competition here.
Well, I just want to call your attention to what's on screen here, Jared, because we got some words from Denofa during the oil spill, and he was talking about the strategy that he's employing for qualifying, and kind of oops, I got Odi Bakchis, but at the same time,
that might be good for him.
If he can take out Bakchis, 32 out for Bakchis in the championship is not good. It's equally not good for Denofa where he's sitting right now. So this is a very, very important battle, not only in this event, but in the context of the championship and kind of the way that Denofa has been approaching this season. So we will see what happens here as the higher qualifier is going to be leading.
I mean, this is a championship run here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely championship run.
This is a big battle here, and Odi's got to have all the confidence in the world. Chelsea Denofa.
Staggered.
Oh, look at that. So he's running a little backed up there. This is a big one right here, kids. Here we go. Odi Bakchis, Chelsea Denofa. Again, 2 championship contenders. Look at the massive angle here from Odi Bakchis. Chelsea Denofa back there quite a bit, coming up high on the bank. Could be a little bit higher there for both the drivers. As now they exit down into the power alley. Chelsea Denofa, look at that, barely going past the cold nose of that Ford Mustang. Odi Bakchis tightening up to that front flip now, coming to that last and final outside zone. Come on, Seattle! Woo! Wow! Telling you, this place is shaking. Oh my gosh. Ryan, that was to be expected.
It lived up to the hype in so many different ways, and I'm so glad that we got a completed run there, because with these guys, you just never really know. They're pushing it to the absolute limits. Look at here, Denofa closing on Odi Bakchis, who's on a pretty high line there. He's trying to maintain equal line, but keep the pressure on. He's surging forward. As Denofa tries to close here, Odi Bakchis is drawing out a really solid, clean lead run all the way around. Look at how he enters outside zone 4, super deep. But again, Denofa is there in the chase. So we will now switch things up. Chelsea certainly has a lot of weight on his shoulders right now to kind of match that lead run of Odi Bakchis. But Odi, as well, is going to have some pressure here in the chase. Now, one of the things that I've kind of learned through talking to some people about this strategy is, how was the tire wear on this second lap?
Ooh,
yeah. And is it better overall, to have the tire in the chase position in Chelsea's favor?
Here we go, Chelsea Denofa up top on the bank, taking a higher line. Look at Odi Bakchis. He jumps forward. He's bathed in smoke right now. And now coming down into the power alley comes Chelsea Denofa. Odi Bakchis right there. Oh, does he allow? Look at it. Oh, we got contact. Massive contact. It looked like the transition from Chelsea Denofa with Odi Bakchis. Looks like he got into him and then got into the side of him and going into the wall. Oh, doctor, look at this. Let's take a look at it again, Ryan. I mean, you can see Chelsea just kicking off that Nitto Tire smoke. The Falcon Tire vehicle of Odi just absolutely bathing in it. But when he got, coming to that power alley, it seems that he might have gotten blinded. Look at that as overhead of Chelsea Denofa. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I think the area of attention that you're gesturing at is likely true, but let's take a closer look here from the drone. Odi drops into formation immediately and goes right to the right rear of Chelsea Denofa. Denofa is actually struggling a little bit with angle there on the big bank. Now right here you can see they tap and then Odi is right there. It looks like he doesn't allow enough room for Denofa to
transition.
transition. And remember, the decel zone coming off the bank is right about here, right? So that's fine. There's no problem there. Now, he is super tight on this section of the course, and this is what we saw from the live run call. But from the drone, it really gives you the perspective that Odie was pushing the pace. Denofa is going to be allowed to decel going into outside zone 3, but it looks like the closing rate of Odie doesn't allow him to do that, and you can see that's where the collision takes place. It looks like that Denofa didn't really have room to make that transition.
Wow, what a spicy run there, man. Chelsea's bumper budget, I mean, that dude goes through bumpers like he does tires, to be quite honest. But here it is. Remember, where you're seeing the momentum map here, you can see OZ signifies outer zone, inner clip, IC, but the red area is of importance. Is the momentum area, as Ryan, you said, the flow. You can decel in those red areas. So that's off of outer zone 1, going into the power alley. They're going from outer zone 3 into the inside clip, and a short, abbreviated decel zone or momentum area. And I have to think that Odie Bakshi's was blinded by the smoke, not by the light, and just gotten to the side of Chelsea. And you saw Chelsea just barely kind of let Odie pass in front of him when he was in the chase position, but not the case here. But this is, again, the judges do not. Yeah, go ahead.
If we go back to the drone run, or excuse me, the drone shot, for me it looks like the run is cooked coming off the bank for Odie. The closing rate being on a tighter radius and getting down into outside zone 2. Prior to that, you can see kind of the buildup. Let's take a look at it. Watch Odie here after the main portion of the big bank. He's going to start coming down, and at this point right here, he's on a tighter radius. Right there, I think it's cooked because now he can't get out of the vehicle. Now obviously, you know, there's the decel zone that never really actually was able to happen. I think that's where this call is probably going to go.
It's a game of inches, and we, again, look at, you're seeing Odie out of the car. I think Odie knows. I mean, a lot of these guys, they'll just, I don't want to say fess up for lack of a better term, but basically acknowledge, like, hey, yeah, I got inside of you, man. Or you know what, dude, what are you doing? You know, I mean, the words that are being exchanged right now, it looks like you could see, you know, with the body English here, Odie, you could see the signature kind of gesturing of the two vehicles in tandem, him outside of the vehicle. Now you can see the team. There's Sopa over there. Yep, so Odie Bakshi's coming in. Chelsea outside of the vehicle, taking a look at this. Odie and Chelsea, and here we go. Slide him left for Odie Bakshi's, right for Chelsea Denofa, and there you have it. Chelsea Denofa gets the win. It is unanimous, Ryan.
Yeah, if you're wondering why it took a moment to make that call, this event we have implemented a path of getting data from the drivers' vehicles to the judges, the telemetry data, and it's to basically confirm what they saw visually, and so that's what the judges were asking for, is to pull the telemetry data off of Chelsea and off of Odie's car to give them some greater insight there. And that is one of the things that they've implemented for some of these close calls. You know, we've seen a lot of them, you know, over the past few years, and it's really nice to have that telemetry data to kind of give some greater insight to the behavior of the vehicles.
Yeah, and it's all about development, right? Development of the sport, giving more clarity for the drivers, the judges, the fans, everybody. It's all about clarity and really defining what the judges and the vehicles are capable of doing. So, as we talked about leading into this, Denofa, he's like, oh, shoot, it might have backfired going against Odie Bakshi's. But in the case of either Victor, right, either Chelsea or Odie coming into this round, Denofa now knocking out Odie Bakshi's in the top 32, that has major repercussions rippling through the point standings, because now here he is out early, where Denofa ends up. Obviously advancing to 16, but shaking things up quite a bit.
Yes, I was reading some quotes about Genius, and I love this one. The distance between insanity and genius is measured only by success.
Okay.
And he was successful there, right? So I think he fell into the Genius camp, even though we knew it was going to be a hard-fought battle. It is such a big risk to go up against somebody like Odi Bakchis in the top 32 when you're chasing for a championship.
Justified confidence? What was it?
Appropriate.
Appropriate confidence. There it is. Here is our Aim High Air Force trivia. What were the first African-American pilots known as? And here are your options. Flying Aces, Mavericks, Eagle Eyes, or Tuskegee Airmen. Again, this is our Aim High Air Force trivia. Go ahead and head into the description on the YouTube live stream, and you'll see the Air Force Aim High trivia. Again, what were the African-American pilots deemed and called the United States Air Force Formula Drift? Thank you for their support, the United States Air Force. All right, looks like we're doing a little track maintenance here from the impact. He went in hard, and again, the bumper budget is through the roof there for Mr. Denofa. But we will continue with the action here. So thank you so much as we're clearing it up. When we come back here, we'll see some more action and some insanity here in Seattle.
Made in Japan. Breed.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
Welcome back. The Pedal Commander Burnout box is filled. And it looks like we are seeing Dean Carnage Carney and Brandon Sorensen not once, but one more times. Hopefully we can get a victor here advancing on. So already in the top 16 here in the NOS Energy Drink, top 32, advancing through the 32 into the 16. Michael Essa will go against Ken Gushi. Jonathan Hurst, we'll see if he gets his car back together after that oil spill and fire. We have that of Dylan Hughes. The winner of this battle will go against Jeff Jones, and then Denofa obviously gets that victory. Will he be going against Trent Beecham or Adam LZ? Right now, it is Sorensen versus Carney for the second one more time battle. Woo, these guys are going after it, getting after it, pitter patter. Let's get at her. All right, Brandon Sorensen will lead. Dean Carney will give chase. Who's coming out on top? The 212 Performance BMW from Las Vegas. Makes his way through the start chicane. We got a clean start. Initiating, nice strong initiation there. And there is Dean Carney once again. He really likes that nosing in style. Would like him to kind of drop back. And Brandon throwing some more angle at it as he enters into the power rally. Pretty similar runs. And Dean not getting out to that third outside zone. He did that in that second battle, as now Brandon Sorensen brings it in. Really cleaning up that last and final outside zone as they are wheel to wheel crossing that finish line.
So, yeah, very similar. You know, you have to, I think when you go back and think about what adjustments need to be made, it's probably going to be some adjustments to the vehicle, but also the approach here. And Sorensen, once again, mid-high line on the bank, and then we get that closing rate from Dean, but coming down on the angle for a second, it still looks like he's got a bit too much grip in the car. Now, what concerns me more here is as Sorensen gets to 2 and 3, Dean is on a really tight line once again, but look at Sorensen blows the inside clip, right? So they keep giving it back to each other, and then Sorensen doesn't fill that final outside zone again, and Dean keeps the pressure on. Now, Dean had 2 big mistakes there, I think. He had on the surge on the big bank, he lost some angle and he dipped down. But Sorensen had 1 less mistake this time on his lead run. He really didn't fill the final outside zone on one more times. This time it was right at the edge there, and then he blew the inside clip number 1.
Yeah.
So there's 2 kind of like sizable mistakes. One of them, which I think is a little bit smaller, outside zone 4. So maybe an improvement there. Let's see if we can't get a victory here in this second half of the battle.
Yeah, we need a flawless run here, fellas. Here we go. Dean Carney. High up on the bank, looks like he's got the clean air. Brandon Sorensen a lot more settled here, but he is lower on the bank. Dean Carney, let's see how he handles the power rally with the clean air. That Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper transitioning now into that 3rd outside zone, allowing Brandon Sorensen to gain that proximity. Now transitioning in that final outside zone goes Dean Carnage Carney. I gotta think that, you know, it was a great lead run and a good chase run. Well, let's take another look at it here, Ryan.
I think Dean may have tapped the wall on outside zone 4 and a little bit there. Let's see if we can't get a better look at it. Very methodically coming through the chicane into initiation. Dean also kind of on that mid-high line. Here comes Sorensen. He's trying to get on the right line compared to Dean. He drops down for a second. He's keeping good relative proximity there. Dean right at the edge of outside zone 2, kills it on outside zone 3. But there's the compression there that Sorensen takes advantage of. Now Dean gets into outside zone 4. He's just gonna tap the wall a little bit right there and make a tiny little correction. So was that enough overall to give enough evidence for the judges to make a result?
This is the second one more time battle between these 2 pilots, Carney and Sorensen. Again, here we go. Slide him left for Sorensen, right for Carney. One more time. Dean Carney. And Dean Carnage Carney gets the victory. So Brian Eggert, Ryan Lontaine siding with Dean Carnage Carney. So Dean Carnage Carney gets the win. Ryan, is that which direction you were going as well?
Well, let's hear from Ryan first, and just to get his side of it and see how they broke down that overall battle.
You heard me talking about Dean Carney's proximity on outside zone 1, but his lack of angle. He seemed to clean it up. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better than it has been. So he did have that great proximity all the way through outside zone 1, and he increased the angle. He was almost completely matching what Brandon was doing through the majority. He was on the right line, so he was in the meeting, like Jared said earlier, we were telling the drivers, again, back tires of the chase car should be tracing the same line as the back tires of the lead car. And Dean was doing a great job of that, stayed high on the bank. And through the infield, he was doing a good job until we got to outside zone 3. Dean ended up on a slightly tighter line, but when the lead driver is setting the pace and Brandon went way wide on inside clip 1, unfortunately, he's the one that takes the hit in my eyes for being offline and not doing the right thing through there. And when you look at his outside zone 4, not great either. Dean Carney did a much better job in his lead run of filling 2, 3, getting to inside clip 1 and 4. So in my eyes, Dean did a better job. Brandon did a better job than he had previously done in outside zone 1 in the chase, but he was dropping down a little bit on his line. So he wasn't really matching exactly what Dean was doing as well. So for me, Dean Carney gets the win.
Thank you so much. Here we go, our next battle. A lot of fans pulling for this guy, Adam LZ, but Trent Beecham's gonna try to put a stop to him. Adam LZ and his LZ S15 on Nitto tires. Taps the wall, goes hard. Adam LZ going deep into, and you can see the rim. Oh boy. And Adam LZ's vehicle comes to a halt. Did you see the metal ring? Just make sure he's okay.
Such a great start too, and then you could kind of start to see that building up, Jared. As now the tire is starting to come back over to the car. It's not funny, but these situations with that wall, there really is no other outcome.
No, I mean, you saw him tap, he got into it, and that wall will suck you up. So that back right, and we'll throw the replay here, but that back, the back left taps, and it just sucks him up, and riding that wall, you saw the ring of the rim just going next to the vehicle, and that's when catastrophe hit with the absolute wheel exploding, coming off, not just the tire, but the rim as well, and that front suspension, it just tweaked right when he came to a halt. So arguably one of the best looking vehicles in Formula Drift. Not the prettiest right now, but I'm glad he's okay. Let's take a look at it again here, Ryan.
Yeah, and this is coming off of a great start. You can see Beecham was already losing ground to LZ. LZ was on a pretty high line there with big angle, but right there, as soon as he taps, that front end gets sucked right into the wall, and then you can see just the immeasurable damage that happens along the way from rubbing on the wall. You get the tire coming off, you get the wheel damage, and also you have the first hit, which is going to damage the left rear as well. Here it is from the sky, and you'll see that nice gap established, but once he hits with his back bumper and the front end goes into the wall, it's pretty much game over from there. And we start to see an assortment of parts coming off the vehicle at various parts of the course, with finally the tire coming off. And let's see if we can, yeah, you can see right there, we start to lose a bunch of different parts. There's the, there's a piece of the body kit, and then there goes the front tire and the wheel damage.
And Ryan, earlier in practice, he did go into the wall, and that back end was damaged. He lost his taillights. He lost a bunch of bits. So you know, you wonder, was that playing a role in the demise here of this vehicle? But Seattle is proving to be very treacherous for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. We are seeing drivers kind of push the level quite a bit here, and it's resulting in some mistakes sometimes that then result in one more times, and then we're seeing some damage here. We just got done with Chelsea Denofa and Odi Bakchis getting into it in outside zone 3, and now we see independently here Adam LZ going into the wall.
There's Adam, and we talked about just you know, one of the most popular drivers here. Just always pretty even keel when it comes to racing at a weekend. I mean, again, just making content, always talking to the camera and talking to you, the fans. But when it's game day and game weekend, he's always out for blood. He wants to win, and that's why he was 2020 Formula Drift Rookie of the Year last year.
Yeah.
And it's great to see. You know, he was going to go Pro 2, but then when we did the condensed season, he says, "Look, I'm going to be at every stop anyways. Why not?" Because he did earn his pro license going from Pro 2 to Pro. So he, now Pro Spec, going from Pro Spec to Pro. So made a statement. Again, a lot of T-shirts, a lot of sweatshirts here in the building at every round of competition. But I really like that he's not just a YouTuber. He's actually a competitor. And look, this can happen to anybody, if it's Vaughn Gittin Jr. or if it's anybody.
Everybody crashes, and let's break down here, for the fans, what could potentially happen. I think Adam, first and foremost, needs to decide whether or not he wants to try and fix the vehicle. If he does, he would have a competition timeout, which means his team has 5 minutes to repair the vehicle once the vehicle has been dropped off at the location of the repair. If the car is not repairable, he may bow out of competition, and that would be an automatic win for Trenton Beecham. However, he is sitting on an incomplete. So it's an uphill battle no matter which way you go on the fork.
All right, so when we come back, we'll see some more drifting action here. And again, it's called the Throwdown. And you know what? This is a bare knuckle fight. Not with, not only just the drivers, but the track as well. So when we come back here, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, this is delivering. This is what you want to see, right? Stomp your feet, Seattle. When we come back, some more drifting action here at Evergreen Speedway.
The Falcon Azenas RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenas RT660.
My name is Farouk Kouaim.
Hey, I'm Justin Pollock. What's up? I'm Jeff Jones. Hey guys, Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver, and I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link. I drive Link.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Air Force Aim High. Type S, official lighting sponsor of Formula Drift. Lights, camera, power, fun. And GT Radial, experience the performance. All right, well, here is another look at it. Adam LZ and the LZ S15. Again, a lot of fans out here in the building, and he goes hard in the wall. Trenton Beecham shuts it down instinctively, as well as he does not need to complete the rest of the run. Such a bummer for him and his team, and of course the fans.
And there is the vehicle in his paddock area. We initially heard that he was going to, quote unquote, try to fix it. And then about, what was it, 30 seconds later, we saw the axe going across the throat from our competition staff up here, basically saying he's decided to bow out. So that moves us on into our next battle with Adam LZ not able to continue. We will take a look at Chris Forsberg versus Kyle Mohan.
So with that, Trenton Beecham gets the win. Beecham will go against Denofa, all Mustang battle in top 16. But right now we're halfway through the top 32, man. I mean, look, this is what you came for. You want to see drifting? You want to see some carnage? You want to see some calamity? You want to see some awesome driving? This is it. Formula Drift. Here we go, baby. Chris Forsberg, Kyle the Menace Mohan. In this battle, Forsberg initiates into the bank. Nice angle from him. All right. Now Kyle Mohan dropping down a little bit low, but keeps a consistent distance between him and Forsberg. Now coming into the power alley, into that third outside zone, tightening up to the front clip goes Forsberg, and now transitions into that final outside zone. Reminding the fans that the judges in the drivers' meeting said, hey, you want to see a good run? Watch what Chris Forsberg did yesterday. So they'll probably pull the tape, and everybody's referencing that. A good run there.
And Forsberg not unfamiliar with getting relegated to the bottom 8 mechanical we saw in New Jersey, but yesterday one run and got it done here. This time he's taking the lead. He's got that high qualification position of number 2. Very high on the bank, pretty consistent here. You can see big smoke line as he leaves that momentum zone area, coming into outside zone 3. Mohan sticking with him in certain areas of the course where we see the compression, but right now Forsberg is drawing a really strong line, hitting all the marks as the lead driver, and that definitely puts you in a really good position come the chase run. So we will switch things up here as Kyle Mohan takes the lead and Chris Forsberg goes to the chase position.
Chris Forsberg coming into this round of competition sitting 11th in points, with Kyle Mohan back in 29th. He could play spoiler here for Forsberg, and we talked about this in the beginning of the show. You know, people are starting to look at championships. Are you looking to salvage something? Are they looking to just hold carbon fiber? I think for Chris is just get the car together. Jen Horst did a good job of breaking down what problems and dilemmas that Forsberg's been having, and that's what brought him up. Now he's driving on cable. Here we go, Kyle Mohan. He'd love to put it down for his town, meaning Long Beach, as well as the rotaries. as Kyle Mohan throws it in. Chris Forsberg keeping good proximity to him. Now coming down into the power alley, into the second outer zone. Chris does not get into it, but he does get to the side of Kyle Mohan, meaning good proximity, good angle. Now coming in that final outside zone. And pucker up Buttercup as they go into that final outside zone across the finish line. As Kyle Mohan rips the wankles all the way through. Again, Kyle Mohan and that KMR Renewable Lubricants Mazda-Trix RX-8 on Federal Tires.
Well, I think one of the differences here is going to be the comparison of the leads, but Forsberg as well does a pretty good job on the chase run here to kind of finish things up. You can see a little bit of angle reduction there from Kyle and that shimmy in the lead position. We saw all along the bank Forsberg really not making any mistakes in the lead position here. And as we compare both battles, he looks like he's got enough done here to move forward. Keeps the pressure on Kyle through that outside zone 3. Nice job on that inside clip, and Mohan gets really deep into that final outside zone, but Chris was kind of stayed back, stayed on the right line, and kept good relative proximity.
And here are the results. Slide him left for Forsberg, the 3-time champ, gets the win. Chris Forsberg in the NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z gets the victory and advances on. Rocking those GT radials as we move on to our next battle. It looks like this, and here's the bracket. So right now, this is actually Trenton Beecham with his run. All right, Beecham on the start line. So with LZ taking himself out of competition, Trenton Beecham will take his bye run, and he will advance on. Like I said, Beecham and Denofa, but we need to confirm that his vehicle's up, running, rip-roaring, ready to go. And again, with Forsberg advancing on. Our next battle after Beecham, down here at Frederick Osbo and Taylor. Beecham, way out and listen, as Beecham pilots his Clonex Racing Nexen Tire Ford Mustang. Well, there we are. Trenton Beecham brings it on in, and he will advance on to the 16. There's the bracket. Essa versus Gucci, Hurst versus Hughes, Carney versus Jones, Denofa versus Beecham. Question is, Hurst, will he get his car together? Carney and Jones, we'll see. Again, Jones has been having some issues here and there. Denofa took a pretty big hit there. I mean, both on the right side and that front left nose going into the wall. And Beecham handed a bit of a victory there. So we'll see how he goes up against, winner previously this year, Chelsea Denofa. Right now, Osbo versus Taylor Hull. Our thoughts and prayers are with Taylor Hull and his family. As right now, I know that Taylor's sister and her brother-in-law and nephew were in a plane crash, and they are just out of surgery, so an uphill battle for them, but heart thoughts and prayers are with them and the whole family. As Frederick Osbo doing battle here, and we talked about, Ryan, just as you say, the Osbo-esque style, the athlete peaking at the right time and rising to the occasion. If you can remember the debut of that vehicle, it wins the first round, turn and burn when they debuted that vehicle, that Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra on Nitto Tires. As now Taylor Hull and that Comp Cams, Nexen Tires, Liqui Moly, Cadillac ATS-V coming to us from Georgia. Osbo will lead. Here we are in the NOS Energy Drink Top 32. And let's keep this party going. Osbo will lead the Norwegian Hammer versus Taylor Hull. All right, and here we go. We got a clean start. Through the start chicane, no cones for hits. Over turn, initiating past that final cone. Nice job by both the drivers. Like to see Taylor Hull a little bit closer here. Taylor Hull dropping down on the bank. Both of them dropping down into the power alley. Shallow line there by Taylor Hull. Frederick fills all of outside zone 2 and 3. Past that front clip, both of them on that first hash mark and into outside zone 4. Freddie goes a little bit deeper. Taylor just flirting with the edge of that last zone.
We've seen over the past, 18 months, 24 months, how much Taylor Hull has grown as a driver and really showing those results last year, finishing in the top 10. Osbo here trying to get a good jump on Hull, and you can see Hull's on the right line, just trying to close that proximity down. He does tap the wall a little bit, comes down off the bank as Osbo reaches into outside zone 2, transitions to 3, gets in there. Hull surging forward, trying to close the door on inside clip 1. Whipping back around is Osbo to fill that final outside zone with Hull just a little bit on the inside. So pretty competitive battle there, as now they will switch things up with Taylor Hull going to the lead and Frederick Osbo to the chase.
All right, Taylor Hull out front, getting that fresh air. Let's see how he manages. Freddie, one-time champion, would love to do it again. As Frederick Osbo currently sits 3rd in points. Will gain some ground on Odi Bakshi's, with Odi going out early in 32 against Chelsea Denofa. Here's Taylor Hull through the chicane. Let's see how this Intimidator does. Goes in, Frederick Osbo right there in his rearview mirror, right in the side door. Look at this, Taylor Hull, great lead run, but cannot shake the rock star that is the Norwegian Hammer, Frederick Osbo. Good transition, throws it into that 3rd outside zone. Taylor Hull putting it down for his family right now. Into that last outside zone. Woo! Door to door, make some noise for Full Pull Hull and Frederick Osbo.
All right, so fans definitely appreciating that as both drivers go back to wait the judges' result. Here it is from above as we see Taylor Hull diving into initiation, and there's Osbo surging, having to make that adjustment. Really close proximity here on the bank, but making slight little adjustments there to make sure he doesn't get into Hull. Hull very deep into outside zone 2. Osbo a little bit shallower. Nice job by Osbo to close the door on outside zone 3, whipping through that final inside clip. As Taylor Hull fills that outside zone, very deep. Osbo on a slightly tighter line, but close proximity. And good battle here in the top 32.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Hull had a great lead run, but just the dominance that Osbo had in that chase position, just I don't think rivaled what Taylor Hull. Great, again, hats off, hat tip to Taylor Hull and his whole family right now, what they're experiencing. But Taylor Hull, you should definitely be proud. Comp Cams. And again, that Liqui-Moly, Yellow Speed Racing, Cadillac ATSV on Nexen tires. But Frederick Osbo gets the win. Frederick Osbo gets the victory in that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra on Nitto tires. Congratulations to Frederick Osbo. He advances on. He'll be going against Chris Forsberg in top 16. So that should be a good battle as our bracket is getting shaped up in top 16 action. Next up, looks like we got Rad Dan Burkett. He's going to be going against our current points leader, Matt Field, the beast from the Bay. Feeling the heat wave, feeling the heat as the 777 Matt Field. And look at that, quite a contrast here. You got full-on JDM, the mulleted one, the smile on the face. Matt Field, let's get down to business right here with that 777 All-American driving the Corvette. But 2 very exciting drivers to watch. And Rad Dan Burkett qualifying 7th. Now consider our points leader yesterday, Matt Field. He qualifies 26th because he had a mistake. So he is not completely invincible. His kryptonite being just, he had an issue. It shut her down. I believe it was his alternator. I saw on IG, he requested an alternator. So here we go. Rad Dan Burkett, Rad Industries, Gear Wrench Toyota Supra, Matt Field, the beast from the Bay, powering that Falcon tires, Grip King, Forley exhaust, Corvette. Rad Dan Burkett thrown in, bigger angle there than Matt Field, but does have, as they said, emulating that tire line. The burnout trail coming down now into the power alley, into that 2nd outside zone. Matt Field bathing in the smoke once again. Bath and Body Works as into that front clip. Now in that final outside zone. Here goes Rad Dan Burkett. Great composure for both the drivers. Matt Field almost getting, almost looping it there, coming out of drift. But a great execution by both the drivers. Ryan.
Well, we have to remember, Matt Field has not relented that lead in the championship for the past 2 rounds. There's a reason that he is your #1 guy right now, and it's for driving like this, being aggressive, but not overly aggressive, matching the line and angle of Burkett up on the bank, and doing enough to get himself in a position to go out there and lay down a clean lead run. But Burkett is doing the same. He did a great job on 2 and 3. Gets to that inside clip. The issue here is that Matt Field really was with him, even if he wasn't door-to-door, through a good chunk of the run. So that's what Burkett is going to have to do. And it's going to be no easy feat for Matt as well, because we saw Burkett really not make too many mistakes and had some high marks in the lead position as well.
All right, Matt Field will be getting the clean air, the lead caveman in the drift cave. From San Jose, California, Dan Burkett, originally from Washington, now living in Southern California, operating his Rad Industries company. We got a restart here. A restart, first one we've seen. Cone was hit. Matt's got a hankering for some ice cream. Hitting that cone, just fill it up. As, again, Matt Field, our current points leader, versus Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett, like I said, originally from Washington. And Mr. Daniel Burkett sitting 19th in points coming to this round. Let's see how the Frenemies driver. And speaking of Matt Field, go see Matt Field, Dio Chara, JTP, and Odie Bakshish. All right, here we go. Matt Field, Rad Dan. The second half of this battle. See if we get a clean start, and looks like we do. Here we go, off and running. Matt Field into that outside zone. Dan Burkett giving him a little bit of inches, but really mimicking the height on the bank as Dan Burkett leaves it on the line, hanging out to dry. Into that third outside zone. Dan Burkett forgoes that third outside zone. Tight to that front clip. Nice job by Field and Burkett. Oh, Dan. Almost getting into that wall. A great run by both the drivers. Ryan, any standout moments of greatness or some mistakes? What did you see?
Well, I think it's going to come down to a battle of overall consistency here. Burkett aggressively trying to get near the back bumper of Field as he initiates onto the bank. Field high line just with that right front down on that white line for a second. Here comes Burkett. He surges forward but has to pull back. Field fills outside zone 2 and 3 just about as perfectly as you can. You can see that compression there between both drivers as Field now looks like he's matching the line overall of Dan Burkett in the lead run. So it may come down to the chases. Who did better overall in the chase position? And Dan Burkett definitely stepping up his game, but there's a reason that Matt Field is #1 in the championship right here. Was this enough to get the job done?
Analyzing the runs here, Matt Sopa waiting. We have the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay. The official suspension of Formula Drift, BC Racing, go for gold.
So again, I think what we're looking for here is overall consistency. We saw both drivers put down the kind of consistency that you want to see, but I think there may be enough here to get a result if we can find that one little mistake that was made overall where the other driver didn't do that, because that's just going to be a differentiator in the overall calculus for the judges. So here we are taking a look at this battle. Left, we see the lead of Dan Burkett, and on the right we see the chase. The judges have a result.
I am the differentiator. I am here to differentiate all the differentiating. Is that cool? All right, cool. Just want to make sure. All right, as we percolate on the differentiate of who's going to advance on, either Rad Dan Burkett. Where are my Rad Dan fans at? You out there? How about where my Matt Field fans at? One more time, and it's going OMT, and it is unanimous. Ryan Lontaine, throw that headset on there, bud. Ryan Lontaine, over to you, bud. One more time, once again.
It came down to comparing the lead to lead, chase to chase. I feel that Matt Field won the chase run and Dan Burkett won the lead run. Dan had a great lead, high on the outside zone 1, hit on all his zones, did really great. And Matt on his lead, unfortunately left outside zone 1 early, which put him on a straighter line to outside zone 2, and you could see how it threw off Dan a little bit in that area, and we're hold him responsible for that. But great run overall, I would say, by both. They just had a couple little errors to clean up.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ryan Lontaine, as we move on to our next battle, Rome Charpentier against Vaughn Gittin Jr. Let's go and send it. Let's expedite, baby. Lick the stamp and send it. Rome Charpentier Garagistic E36 against Vaughn Gittin Jr., two-time and defending Formula Drift champion. And look at this. Vaughn says he prefers chasing first, so he got exactly what he wished for as he now goes against Rome. Rome looking very clean, tidy. Vaughn Gittin Jr., the chrome nose, in tow. A lot deeper angle there from Vaughn Gittin Jr., maybe taking some speed out of the car to allow. Again, there's got to be a horsepower difference here between these two gentlemen. And Rome's got to be stoked, man. You know, you have a confidence, right? When you go against a caliber driver like this, you know they're going to go for it, so you can really throw caution to the wind.
Oh, and boy, has he had a couple of those the past few rounds. One more time battles with Osbo, now taking on Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Well, Ryan, real quick, let's sort of go down to Jen Horsey. She's with Adam LZ.
So I'm here at LZ's pit. You can see his crew is working pretty hard to put that front corner of the car back together. He took a hard hit to the wall and basically tore out the subframe, the whole corner. Unfortunately, he's not feeling well. He's not been feeling 100% for the past couple of days, so we can't talk to him. But these guys at this point are just trying to put the car back together for St. Louis.
All right, thank you so much, Jen. As we now go back to the start line, here is Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Rome Charpentier. And here's the second half of this battle. The professional Fun Haver, the Fun Haver Tour going down. Party in the pits, so go join them at 3 o'clock. As Vaughn Gittin Jr. will lead, Rome Charpentier will give chase. Let's see if Rome can hang with the two-time and defending FD champ. Yes, he can right now. The answer is yes. The all of the above as Vaughn Gittin Jr. now comes out of that outside zone 1 into the power alley. Rome digging deep, throws it to the side of Vaughn Gittin Jr. Here's Rome tight. Rome letting it all hang out in the Garagistic E36. Look at that, Rome. No pushover. Thought this was going to be a little bit of an outpowering match for the defending champ, but not the case, Ryan.
Yeah, really good battle on hands here between Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Rome Charpentier. Let's take a look at the second half of the battle. See if we can dissect this. Nice little snap there by Vaughn. Gets up high on the bank. Rome starts to move up to try to stay on that same line with the two-time champ. Vaughn getting that angle in the car coming down off the bank. Here comes Rome. Now Rome comes through the smoke line. He was a little bit tighter there and had a little bit less angle by not going out to outside zone 3. So will that be a differentiator there? But in outside zone 4, he really compressed and kind of tied Vaughn in. Now let's take a look at the side-by-side. You can see Vaughn does have that extension a little bit on his lead run. A little bit tighter on the chase. That's where we see Rome kind of come a little bit tight there. But overall, watch Rome on this transition here, coming through the smoke line. He really starts to reel in Vaughn. Makes that slight little adjustment there. So both runs in the books now. Good battle between these two guys. Who's moving on into the top 16?
All right. Taking a look again at that side-by-side replay, as you said, Ryan. Is that telling of a victor? Vaughn Gittin Jr. or Rome. Results are in. Slide them left for Rome, right for Vaughn Gittin Jr. And there we go. Chris Ewell, Ryan Lontaine. Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the win. A great effort by by Rome Charpentier, but Vaughn Gittin Jr., like you said, he prefers to chase first, and with him qualifying 23rd, he's down there. But he's going to go against either Matt Field or Dan Burkett. Now here comes Federico Sharifo, piloting the vehicle he's deemed Fiorella. He's going against our number 3 qualifier, Ryan Turk. Now Ryan Turk, he comes into this round of competition sitting 8th in points. He's piloting that Gum Out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Federico Sharifo, again, piloting that 599 GTB Fiorella Triple F drifting department on Nexen tires. Ryan Turk on Nittos. Shout out to the race service boys. I know they're always watching. Finch and Doyle and Jacob and Andy and James and the whole gang. And yep, shout out to George as well. I know he's part of Fetty's team. He's dealing with COVID conditions right now. So shout out to you, George. Hope you feel better soon. Ryan Tuerck will lead. Fetty will give chase. Again, Ryan Tuerck, some great results yesterday. Let's see how he puts it down here at Evergreen. First portion of this battle, here goes Ryan Tuerck. Shooting out, and Federico back there quite a bit. Not part of the equation as Ryan Tuerck doubles down and comes through that outside zone and to outside zone 2. Doesn't get out there, Ron. Not the best line for him coming to that power rally. Kind of overshoots it, now brings it around for that final outside zone. So, again, quite a departure, Grand Canyon of a gap, but Ryan Tuerck going from outside zone 1, coming off the bank into 2, not the prettiest.
Yeah, Fede looked like he got a little bit of an early initiation there, maybe in anticipation for where he thought Tuerck was going to initiate. And as a chase driver, if you're facing down a faster car, it doesn't really help you out that much. He initiated a bit early, down on that lower line, and he really gives this entire bank to Ryan Tuerck. So obviously Tuerck in his chase run really just needs to kind of be decent in that section of the course. As you said, Tuerck does miss outside zone 2 or doesn't fill it completely. But the rest of the course pretty solid here as the lead driver. So we saw that one mistake from Tuerck, but quite a few mistakes from Fede in a longer period of the course, which I think puts him at a disadvantage now as he takes his lead run.
All right, Federico will now be out front getting the clean air. Gotta love the red, white, and green, the Italian flag just going across the side, even on the wheels, the wheel spokes. All right, we got a restart here. All right, here we go as we are going to see Fetty out front, Ryan Tuerck in the chase position. And we are sending the cars. And here we go with Fetty. And looks like we got a clean start. Here we go. Federico Sharifah looks like Ryan Tuerck kicking back a little bit here. Maybe that is definitely strategy. You can see him, you know, his spotter in his head, Biddy's maybe saying, hey, take a lower line. We saw what he did in the chase position. So now he's got to kind of pedal back, keep his composure. Federico doing a decent job. That is a massive hang up right there by Fetty. You can see him yanking the handbrake, massaging the vehicle into that. That was very difficult for Ryan Tuerck. Unfortunately, Fetty just not enough to get it up on the bank, but Ryan Tuerck kind of calms his nerves.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good job as a chase driver to treat the lead driver as a moving clipping point. He sees where Fede initiates, and then he quickly moves to that line. And you're right, it's a much lower line from Fede, so he's at a disadvantage here as a lead driver. Tuerck is playing it very calculated here. He's trying not to get super close to make contact or cause any issue with a battle that he clearly had an advantage on after run number 1. And he does enough of a job here to make it a pretty easy win moving on into the top 16. And there we go. Both American judges and the Canadian judge go in favor of Ryan Tuerck. He moves on into the top 16.
Ryan Tuerck getting the victory, and there it is, unfortunately, for Federico. All right, so an absolute wild one here as we are continuing the party, and looks like, and here's a look at the bracket. Ryan Tuerck advances on. He'll go against the winner of the next battle, either Pollock or Naren. Also want to send a shout out to Zach from team Adam LZ's team. Happy birthday, Zach. And that's love Pat Gooden. And so Vaughn Gittin Jr. See him right there. So as we are going back to the one more time battle between Dan Burkett and Matt Field. Gonna OMT between these two gentlemen, as Lantain was explaining, just lead versus lead, chase versus chase, and either opposing driver winning one kind of section or the other. So Matt Field from that burnout box. Now here comes Dan Burkett out front, out qualifying our current points leader. Dan Burkett would love to play spoiler like Chelsea Denofa did earlier with Odie Bakshies. But the other half of the frenemy duo wants to continue his success this season. Doing some muscle ups, some kettlebell swings, and now some smoky swings into that first outside zone, chasing down Dan Burkett. Brad into his gear wrench Toyota Supra. Brad Dan, good angle from him. Matt Field, you can see mimicking, getting into that tire trail. Now coming down, massive, look at the proximity and the angle. He is shadowing everywhere he goes. How's he gonna handle that? Boom. So you can see that. He had to compromise with his transition of Dan in front of Matt Field. He lost that third outside zone, but he was really close to him on that bank. He got right into that tire trail.
If you're trying to make an impression about your chasing skills, I don't know that you can do it better than Matt did on the bank there without making a mistake and causing contact or collision. That was really, really awesome to watch. Let's see if he was able to kind of pull it together for the rest of the run, because Dan Burkett is giving him an awesome lead run to chase down. I mean, Burkett is slowly creeping up the bank. He's getting super tight there, and look at Field just keeping it so close. Now, right there is where we saw the crash with Odie and Chelsea. You could see Field kind of pulled back, but then he misses that zone, right? He misses that zone and kind of left a little bit of an opportunity there for Burkett to do something better in his chase run as they switch things up.
Yeah, I would say that Matt Field said, all right, I'm just gonna dominate him on 1 and 2, and it just in a chase aspect, but like you said, can't have a good chase unless you have a good lead. Dan gave him that, but he compromised outside zone 3. Now I think Matt Field's really gonna turn it up. He does not like leave it in the judge's hands. He's really gonna flex, and here we go. But Dan Burkett, he is on one here this weekend, and look at this big angle. Oh, and Dan Burkett looks like he might have gotten to the wall and caused him to go down, but regardless, Matt Field, he needs to continue on through this line. If he continues doing at this pace, it is going to be our current points leader, Matt Field, the beast of the Bay, advancing on. Can you feel that? Yep, that's the heat wave crossing that finish line. That Falcon Tires, Drift K, Borla exhaust, Corvette with that Vortex supercharger, Matt Field. So unfortunately, Dan Burkett taking himself out a little bit there in that chase position. That was blaringly obvious, Ryan.
Yeah, it seems like the run was kind of given back to Matt Field, or given to Matt Field on the bank here, just because of what we saw, comparatively speaking, in the previous run. Does look like he makes a little bit of contact with the wall, but as soon as he comes off that line, as long as Field finishes this run with a good general overall lead, he's got the battle won, in my opinion, just because that mistake on the bank is significant enough from a comparison standpoint to move things into Field's perspective.
Here we go. Speaking of Field, right field or left field, Dan Burkett, slide him left or right for Matt Field. And it looks like Matt Field gets the victory. He will advance on. So Matt Field versus Vaughn Gittin Jr. in the top 16.
And definitely, you know, hats off to Dan Burkett for the one more time battle and really showing some great overall skills there to take on the #1 guy, force it to a one more time and put up a great competition is awesome. So let's move on to our next battle here as we check out the 14th and 19th place qualifier, Justin Pollock versus Jonathan Nairn.
All right, so JTP, Jonathan Nairn. Nairn says the vehicle getting better and better each time. Pollock, like you said, Ryan, just has that ability to kind of do just that flick, that big, nasty JTP, kind of almost backwards entry. Just getting sick with it. Originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan, now living in the hot line, talking about Southern California. And there's JTP sitting, waiting, wishing, as Nairn now pulls up to the line. And those two gentlemen go past. And they are ready to send it. Top 32, the NOS Energy Drink Top 32. In a moment, with our next battle, we'll have a special announcer and give some insight on what's going on with his latest two-wheel project. We're talking about getting into the Permatex Flat Out 200. Dylan Hughes will be joining us here in the booth, getting some news on that, some updates with, and he's going to be calling the action with one of his good friends, Travis Reeder. So here we go. Right now, it's all about JTP and Jonathan Nairn. And here we go, JTP, he's going to lead that Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. Jonathan Nairn in that chase position. JTP, good, solid, locked, rock, ready to rock. And now coming down into that power alley, filling all of it. Nairn coming up just a bit short. Oh, and JTP hanging it out quite a bit. Interesting line, right? It seemed that he really that third outer zone seemed a lot longer than all the other drivers have taken it. But let's take a look at it again here, Ryan.
Well, Justin knows that he's got some work to do this event after getting completely knocked out of competition because of the motor failure in Erie. He takes on Jonathan Nairn here in the top 32. Nairn continuing to build his program and looking strong, but let's take a look at JTP out front. Gets that nice initiation. Mid-high line on the bank, staying pretty consistent. Nairn right there, a pretty sizable, noticeable mistake where he makes that adjustment with the front wheels. Pollock gets deep into 2, 3 as well, and as you said, he pushed out a little bit wide, but Nairn wasn't in proximity there, so an opportunity for collision or contact just wasn't available, and he still was able to kind of late apex that inside clip and make it look pretty good. Finishes up the run strong with Nairn starting to close the door, but overall did some good damage there in the lead position, and that slight little adjustment from Nairn that was noticeable on the bank is going to put him at a little bit of a deficit here. Let's switch things up though as Nairn goes to the lead. He knows what he needs to do here against JTP.
All right, Nairn leading JTP. Watch this. I have a feeling he's going to really apply the pressure. He doesn't like backpedal at all. Justin's always going for it, and just as I say that, he's given himself maybe a little bit of a buffer. Strategy coming into play here, and there it is. He's going to start sinking his teeth in here, but Nairn doing the right things. He's doing everything he needs to do out front, but unfortunately with those mistakes in that chase position, that could end up haunting Nairn. And this is Juku Racing S14, and unfortunately, like I said, yeah, just Justin sinking his teeth in there and getting it done, Ryan.
Yeah, I think that wavering from Nairn on the bank and really not seeing too much of any problems from JTP in the chase is probably going to bring this battle to a conclusion. But let's take a look at it here. Nairn does get super high on the bank for a pretty extended period of time. You can see that right front lifting as Pollock driving, trying to stay out of the smoke line, fills that outside zone 2 with him. He's a little bit tighter on 3, so he gave a little bit back there. Nairn piping it around that inside clip. Good transition from JTP through the smoke line. Really good job there to kind of get back in. But we quickly see the scores up, and yes, it looks like it's moving in favor of Justin Pollock.
That's right. JTP gets the win and advances on in his Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. Jen Horsey's down with Matt Field.
That was the best battle and maybe the best driving I've ever done. I got to experience it with you.
Oh my gosh, a little bit of a celebration for what's happening here. We've got Red, Dan, congratulating Matt Field. Matt Field, #1 in points in his top 16 battle, is now facing defending champion Vaughn Gittin Jr. Tell me a little bit about the battle that got you there.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't easy for sure. Dan has been driving amazing this weekend. Sometimes he's a little bit of a wild card. You don't know what you're going to get, but all through practice, our notes were saying that he was turned up. So I wasn't expecting it one more time, but you know what? I'll take the extra runs. I didn't get a lot of practice runs yesterday due to car issues, so I'll take it. We're moving on. But honestly, Dan, good freaking driving, dude. Congrats. And we're up against Vaughn Gittin Jr. So this could be a serious battle for the points. So I got to bring my A game. Not that I would bring anything but it's time to turn it up.
Awesome. Turn it up.
Thank you so much, Jen Horsey. Thank you, Matt Field. Good luck, and game, respect, game right there.
Yeah, he said, I got to bring another level.
I'm on a new level.
He wants to go more levels, just continuing to go up
Stacking
levels. I wonder
levels.
if you get to a point where that's the top.
Nah, I'm good. Yeah, just I
best
peeked
thing
out.
to do.
Here we go, Travis Reeder, the Walmart greeter, against the PNW, the Link Engine Management. BMW going against the former champ, Daichiro Yoshihara, turn 14, talking about turning it up, turn 14, Falcon Tires, BRZ. Reeder higher than Dai on that bank. You see Dai Yoshihara take a little bit of angle out there, quick little correction now into that third outside zone. Here goes Dai, look at that, right next to Reeder, but Reeder is possessed, man. He is absolutely on one here this weekend. He's comfortable, he's familiar with this track, he's liking it, he's loving it, he wants some more of it.
Yeah, Dai yesterday had the best qualifying run until the last 60 feet when he tapped the wall and got out of it. And we are looking for him to kind of step up his performance. He's had a couple issues this year, but he's going against a really hot Travis Reeder. Let's take a look. You can see that surging attack by Dai, but he starts to kind of lose a little bit of angle there, tries to stay on the right line. Reeder surging off of outside zone #1. Dai trying to make those adjustments. Reeder kind of misses 2 and stays in 3 for a limited period of time, but he's able to get back on that inside clip, circling back around as Dai tries to close up that distance through the finish line. So good start there. Both drivers laying it on the line. And now we will switch things up as Daijiro Yoshihara goes to the lead.
Like, I'm just saying, given everything. All right, so here we go. Dai Yoshihara will lead, Travis Reeder giving chase. Like you said, a surging Travis Reeder. Love Dai's run, like you said, just 75 feet away from what could have been the #1 qualifying run. But now he's got to bring it. That's out the window in head-to-head competition. There, Dai Yoshihara back to his championship form. Really good run. Look how settled the car is. No correction from him out front with that fresh air. Oh, buddy, but then I say that. It
was right when you said that.
The announcer's curse strikes again like lightning. And now send it to end it. Travis Reeder banging doors.
Literally like
right
1/10 of a second after you said that, his front wheels were like
no correction.
Jared's so stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. All right, here we go. Daijiro Yoshihara in the lead this time around. Very smooth and silky, as you said. Nice and high on the bank. Reeder a little bit tighter there, but keeping good relative proximity. That's where he makes that first little adjustment. Look, then he blows off the course with at least 1.5 tires, probably 2 on outside zone 2. Reeder tightens up. They make contact right there. And then this final section, Reeder once again keeping the pressure on.
Wow. Yeah, the announcer's curse is alive and well, my friends. As didn't know I held that much power. Did you know if you say stomp your feet, they'll actually stomp their feet, Ryan? Stomp your feet. Wow. I feel like Thanos right now. It's incredible. Travis Reeder gets the win. Travis Reeder, your local PNW boy. Travis Reeder, the speed reader. He loves WPMs, words per minute. That's what we're talking about here. As we have our final battle, but we have a special guest up here in the booth. We got Simon Olsen down on the ground. He is going against Josh Reynolds. You're close to that camera, dude. Back up. Why you up in the grill? We got Dylan Hughes here. You're going to be in top 16. Congratulations, buddy. Yeah, go ahead and hit that button to talk.
Yeah, green to go, ready to stop. Yeah, so under the top 16, I had a pretty sweet run with
who was it against?
Somebody.
You forgot? Real? Already?
I mean, what do you want from me, all right?
Alec Robbins.
I blacked out Alec Robbins. We actually had a really good run together. I was feeling pretty good. Actually, I will say, to be completely honest with you guys, I had one of the worst practice sessions this morning that I have ever had. I was incredibly frustrated. I feel like I couldn't drive the car, and I know I have a good opportunity here today, so just stressful this morning. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, the Permatex Fast Orange BMW right now. We got Simon Olsen, Josh Reynolds. We got Norway versus Seattle. Josh Reynolds and his team, the Drift Force, 2 of the vehicles operated by Matt Field and the Drift Cave team. But also, we're up here to talk about the Permatex Flat Out 200 miles per hour on the salt. What are we talking about, real quick?
Yeah, so I've teamed up with Permatex. We're going to take this motorcycle and we're going to body kit this thing out, and we're going to go 200 miles an hour on the Bonneville Salt Flats. And that doesn't sound completely that outrageous, but when you talk about doing that on salt, which essentially is like sand and like a super slippery surface, it actually gets pretty squirrely. So, and one other thing to note is that it is actually a flying mile. So this is going to be like 17 seconds of wide open 200 miles an hour, which is going to be pretty squirrely, but something that Permatex and I have teamed up on, and I'm excited. It's a month away right now.
Wow, that's insane, and we'll talk some more details. But let's wrap out here with Simon Olsen, Josh Reynolds. Get your feedback like you're filling in for Ryan Sage right now. Here we go. Simon out front, the 2J powered Toyota Supra, looking good. He's got that Street Hunters kit there. As Simon Olsen, nice job out front. Josh Reynolds, he actually, yeah, you can see him. Oh wait, I need to make some corrections here to get to the side of Simon Olsen. Filling that second outside zone of the power. Oh, Josh. Really just diving in, and Simon Olsen continues. Whoa, buddy. So Josh almost going for the T-bone, going for the jugular here, but Simon Olsen from Norway, the 2J Power Toyota Supra with that Street Hunter Designs kit. It's pretty straightforward, Dylan.
That's tough. That's a tough place to get yourself in. To be honest with you, coming off of that bank is actually pretty sketchy. You're going really fast, and there's not a whole lot to look at. So if you don't have your timing just right, that is very, very easy to do. So a couple of mistakes there in the chase position, but you know, it's not over yet. It ain't over yet.
Yeah, but watch Josh right here. So you see Simon, Josh is like, oh wait, I gotta back up. Simon gets out there, Josh, nope, he just beelines it over there. throws you off.
Yeah,
Once you're off, you're totally off.
Once you're off, it just throws off your mojo, and that's so hard to get back. And especially with the amount of grip that these cars have nowadays, it's just, you can't just like put it back to where it needs to be all of a sudden. You can't just drag that handbrake and skid it up behind him. It just doesn't work that way. So
a lot of two-wheel fans out here. Dylan Hughes, pilot of that fast orange Permatex BMW. Latest episode, talking about aero in the last episode, fuel maps, new exhaust for more power. Any other details, and where can they watch these videos?
So this is all going to be aired on my own personal YouTube channel as well as the Permatex YouTube channel. So lots of places online to find this, and this has been something that's well out of my wheelhouse. So I'm excited.
Well, you're proficient in two wheels, but not this speed, this caliber, this kind of whole thing.
Right.
All right, let's talk about speed right now. We got Josh Reynolds out front. Simon Olsen, you got to show up, bud. There is a major mistake by Josh Reynolds, but you need to, again, I don't consider this an inactive chase by any means, but Simon, now he goes and misses that outside zone 2-3, but Josh, he had those major mistakes. He went in on the inside. That was an incomplete run. This is just not a good run. He's missing zones. If this was a qualifying run, it would have been a low qualifying run, but it wouldn't have been an incomplete compared to Josh Reynolds. Incomplete. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, missing boxes is definitely not something that you want to do, but that's definitely not as bad as straightening out and going over the cone. So I think that this is kind of obvious in my opinion, but shout out to both drivers for doing a good job. And this is not easy, man. I wish everybody could go for a ride. I really do. This is one of these scariest tracks. That's a consistent 90 miles an hour around that big bank, dragging your back bumper on the wall. I seriously wish we could take everybody for a ride.
Right? I mean, this is one of the fastest tracks in FD, right? I mean,
maintaining. We do a faster Atlanta.
Yes.
We do a faster Atlanta entry.
You do Atlanta?
That's about 105 mile an hour down the hill in Atlanta. Right. But this one is a consistent 90 around that bank, and it feels like it. It really does.
You see the cars, the setup and settle and all that, but you know, let's take a look. Yeah, shout out TJ. What's up, homeboy? Simon Olsen, Josh Reynolds. Let's slide them left for Simon Olsen. Gets the win and that 2J power. You see that boost race fuel coming to us from Norway. Unfortunately, Josh Reynolds and that Drift Force BMW knocked out. But Dylan Hughes, thank you so much for joining us again. You can find out more about your project, Permatex Flat Out 200. You did injure your shoulder. Are you kind of transparent about that?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't talking about it for like the first 2 weeks because I really wanted to make sure that I was going to be okay to run. Went and saw a bunch of doctors and went and made sure I was okay. I hurt my shoulder riding a dirt bike, and that was about 12, 13 days before we had to compete in Lake Erie.
Yep.
So definitely sort of a wing down, but it's getting better every day. Just the hardest part for me is just stopping doing anything. I can't help it. I don't like to sit still. So I wore the sling for a week, even though they recommended it was like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are you going to do?
Got to do what you got to do. The Permatex Flat Out 200. Dylan, this is how the Evergreen Speedway bracket top 16 shows up. You got Michael Essa, Kent Gucci, Hurst versus Hughes. That's you, buddy. That's you. That's you. And you might not even have to do battle with Hurst because he slicked the track. Did you know this?
I did. I heard about it. I didn't see it, but I did hear about it. He came by my pit just a minute ago, and he said that his oil cap came off.
What?
So not something that you would want to happen, but it sounds like his engine is okay. So he said he's good to run, so let's do it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dylan Hughes. Thank you so much for the fans. Again, that's a wrap here for Top 32. But here, look, here's a teaser for the Permatex Flat Out 200. This man trying to hit 200 miles per hour on the salt, doing it for you. So come back at 4 p.m. local time. Local time right now is currently 2:45. Don't go anywhere, but here's the Permatex Flat Out 200 from round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship.
We have the bike hauls, but just the way that it is, I don't think anybody's ever done this to an H2 yet. So this place is legendary in making body kits for motorcycles that go on the Bonneville Salt Flats and go for land speed records. We're gonna do 200. I don't know what I got myself into, I really don't. Because it's like one of those deals where you're like, wow, 200, wow, 200. It's like, you know, there's a lot of cars and a lot of vehicles out there, bikes included, that will do 200 these days. And it sort of gets like swept under the rug as something that's just like, it's not that big of a deal. But once you do it on a surface like the salt, like the Bonneville Salt Flats, I think that it escalates the danger level quite a bit. And I'm learning that more as we get farther into this.
Your body is a machine. Ignite it. human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlic technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
The Pedal Commander is the world's most advanced throttle response controller. It's a plug-and-play unit that unleashes the power of your vehicle. Has 36 total settings, is easy to install, and makes the driving experience so much more fun.
Picks up RPMs way better, kind of like a race car, it responds.
Order now and use code FD2021 for $30 off your purchase.
Scared of dentists and the dark.